is going on, everyone? It's episode 185, recorded on Sunday, October 22nd, 2023. I'm John, and hey, Drew, this one's for the ladies. What's the difference between hungry and horny? Where you stick the cucumber.
It just seems like common sense. What is up, everyone? On tonight's episode, monthly mayhem mid-month updates, and maybe a new one? Ooh. We played lots and lots of games over the last 2 weeks, and we have reviews to share with you. And we were wary and wondered how wonderful Mario Wonder was, and now we wonder no more as we work through this whimsical and weird yet wonderful of a game. John, buddy, I have to start off in saying, I appreciate you. You know, I want you to know that. Thinking about it the other day, I don't know why I was thinking about it. You know, for those that are listening out there, John, one, puts up with me. He just put up with me as we went through the entire doc criticizing me, which I get. My own fault, sure. But what also you guys don't know is John bends over backwards for me in a weird way. But, you know, every night when we go to record, I tell you I'm putting my kids to bed. I tell you I'm brewing my coffee. And you're just ready. You accommodate for me, right? There's no, well, I can't record till this time. You know, I appreciate that, John. You know, I haven't said it enough to you.
Always there. Well, thank you.
No, it's truth. You know, I other podcasts I see sometimes, you know, with different schedules, but you understand I have the little bit of the younger kids and it's tougher. I got to do the routine still. And someday, hopefully I don't have to, but I appreciate it.
Oh, the routine only changes.
It just changes. There's no more book stories, you know, reading books and whatnot. And all that good stuff. We're still in that phase, but you know.
Drew is referring to the fact that we have had a topic on our doc for about a month now, and he still hasn't put together a list yet. But if you listen to an episode from, what is it, 2 or 3 episodes? It had to be like 3 episodes ago. We actually mention on that episode.
Oh, do I on tonight's
we're
show?
going to talk about that. And we go, that would be a great topic. We should do that next week. And that was about a month ago. And it's still coming. Drew just needs to make a list. I'll give bonus points to anyone who can tell me that topic, by the way. Speaking of kids getting older, this past week, I did something I've never had to do before yet again.
Uh-oh.
It's always new ground. Went on a college tour with Cedric. Oof. Crazy. We actually all went, but here's why it was exciting. We went to Colorado State University, and I'm so excited. That is my alma mater. I went to CSU between 94 and 97. No, 95 and 98. I was there. I'll never forget when I was reading in the Rocky Mountain News about Terrell Davis being the breakout young player for the Broncos in training camp. And I went there for 3 years after a year of community college back in 94 to 95. I didn't actually get my degree until 2005, which is a story into itself.
Fun fact. You know what I was doing in 1994, John? Learning to wet my own ass.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, we're advanced, and we'll get to that. But yeah, so we did a CSU campus tour. I was very excited because, you know what I mean? Like, my memories of these are some of my greatest memories is my 3 years at Colorado State. When I learned to be a man, I went there and I had never did my own laundry before. And I remember I had to lease a car on my own. Remember, I lived in New York. And so I didn't have my parents to help me get a car. I had to get an apartment a couple times just on my own, not knowing how to do any of this stuff. And I grew up then. So those are my favorite years of my life. But like, they're memories, yet it's like an hour and 15 minutes north of me. And so we did the campus tour, which, by the way, I've never done before. When I went to CSU, I went sight unseen. I applied. I got accepted. I got accepted at Clemson as well. And I had to decide between the two. I picked CSU because I didn't want to move to the hot South Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, and like we did a tour. We walked around the campus. I saw buildings I hadn't been in 20 years. they have a computer science building now. They never had that before. When I had to do anything on a lab computer, we had to go off campus. And now that building's not used for that anymore. I was like, wow, this would have been really nice. It's literally right by the student center. I used to have to bolt there after the previous class to get to the lab for my next class. They have a whole new rec center, which they never had before, that's free to all students. And there's a running track, there's exercise equipment, tons of it. There is all of the racquetball courts and everything.
All right.
It's all free. It's like, holy
So,
crap.
so
I
was
wish
he
I had that.
impressed?
Yeah, he was excited. This was his first tour.
Yes, he didn't really know what to expect. Right?
Exactly. He's
So,
excited for it. We're gonna do CU as well, and we're gonna do School of Mines, which is like literally 10 minutes from us.
so I gotta ask: is this? I guess I never really understood the origin story, John. But is this what drove you now to why you live in Denver or Colorado today?
Sort of. I was a Denver Broncos fan as a kid because they had the same colors as the New York Mets.
Okay,
So I
makes
became a
sense.
Broncos fan. And then in my last year at high school for my birthday, my brother we flew to Denver to see a Broncos Giants game here in Denver.
Yeah, okay.
That
'Cause
was
he
in
likes Giants.
93. Yeah. The Broncos won that game, but I'll never forget John Elway got hurt in that game and Jeff Hostetler got hurt in that game. Both quarterbacks for our teams got hurt. But I fell in love with Denver when I went there. It was still like a cowboy town back then.
Mhm.
And then that's when I decided I wanted to try to go to college there. And I
Okay.
only applied to CSU because I applied late. It was a last second decision. I had already been at community college. I was going to do another year at community college. And I just decided, let me see if I can go to a real college, because community college was really easy.
Mhm.
And yeah, CU wasn't accepting. A couple other places weren't accepting Colorado College. And CSU was accepting. And it sounded really nice. So I didn't tour. I didn't visit. I just applied. I got it and went. And I loved it. It was a great decision
That's
that I
awesome.
made. Kind of wish I did that for 4 years, but I'm done not paying my school loans anymore. I finished that a couple years ago, so
Nice.
that's fine.
So that's how you ended up in there today because of your visit and then going to school there. You kind of just fell in love with the place.
Yeah,
Now,
I stayed out here.
I mean, we're getting deep here, but when you met Michelle, was that out in Colorado? Or was that in New York?
Yeah, we just happened to both be from New York, but we met out here.
Ah,
I never went home after college. I got an apartment while I was at college, and then I moved to another apartment when I left college. I never went back to New York
look at
after
that.
my second year at CSU, because my third semester intermission, I had an apartment in my third year. So I never did go back. I could never go back. I can't exist in New York anymore.
Oh, New York is literally the worst place on earth.
Sea level, and there's too many people.
Brutal.
But
I like my
yeah.
distance. I'm like a 3 to 4 hour drive. That's my distance from there.
Yeah. How's your week?
Good. Pretty uneventful. I mean, busy with the kids. This is like we're starting to wrap up all the fall activities and fall sports and stuff like that. I went to my mom's last night. She does like her annual little Halloween party. We had a good fun time. I dressed as Bowser. I did a nice. We'll talk about it later a little bit, but yeah, pretty quiet. Tried to do all my chores again. I've been big on trying to do all my chores like Friday, Saturday, so then Sunday I can do nothing. And that's what I did. Today was like football, a lot of Mario Wonder. I actually had to work for a few hours today.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It's been bad lately. It's only going to get worse. I know.
What are people doing on a Sunday? If somebody told me to work on a Sunday if they needed help, I'd be like, fuck you. You shouldn't be working today. Why should I help you?
No one told me to, but my boss asked for something like Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and I kind of put it off till Friday because I was busy. I mean, he only gave me 2 days, and then I thought it would just be like an hour job, and then when I really looked into it, it was like an 8-hour job, and I had to work a little bit Friday, a little bit Saturday, and I wrapped it up today. But
we're getting in Jesse territory here with
we don't
work stories.
Nobody cares about that. We're talking about origin stories and work stories. That's fine. But yeah, that's all I got really going on.
And the most important thing that happened today, both of our shitty football teams won a game.
That's right. That's right.
Patriots, big. I thought they had lost. The Bills scored like less than 2 minutes to go. I thought that game was over. I stopped looking
Yep.
at it.
And then they
And then
drove
they
down the field.
scored somehow. And then the Broncos looked like they were going to do the same thing they always do, which is they have a lead and then the team just scores on the late in the fourth quarter because the Broncos were 0-3 at home.
Yep.
And it looked like Green Bay was going to drive down the field again. And then we stopped them. It was great.
It was.
They had
It
a
was.
situation. I don't know if you probably didn't see the end of that game. So
I don't
here's
know.
your football quiz, right? Broncos they ran the ball 3 times. There's less than 2 minutes left. There's like a minute 40 when they got the ball.
Mhm.
They ran 3 times. Packers had 1 timeout. So the Broncos took a delay of game penalty, 6 seconds on the clock, 4th down. What do? You're up. You're up 1. No, they were up 2 points. You're at your own 30-yard line. 6
Yeah.
seconds on the clock, 4th down. What do you do?
6 seconds on the clock, 4th down.
The question is, do you punt?
Or do you just try to run it?
Yeah.
I
And
think you just punt.
normally you would just punt, but there's so many things can happen. Special teams could botch it. What do you do? And I said, like, let Russell
What
Wilson
could you
run
run?
run around, and then throw it like as
With
far as
0
you can out of
seconds
bounds.
left.
But the thing was, and that's actually what they did. But man, this year the Broncos have been so bad.
You just
You're
never
like,
know.
oh, you just know he's gonna fuck it up though. He's gonna fall. He's gonna fumble it, and I was so stressed out. He handled it perfectly. But this year, I mean, it was like, oh my God, the Broncos are gonna lose this game, aren't they? He's gonna fall. He's gonna drop it. Someone's gonna pick it up, and it's
He's gonna roll an ankle.
yeah. But we win.
That's it. We
So-
both win. We both win. I guess
Amazing.
we wanted to lose a weird situation, but here we are.
Here we
2
are.
and 5.
Yeah.
Right? So
We're 2-5. We have to play the Chiefs next week, but honestly, the rest of our schedule is not like that scary. We have the Bills in a couple weeks, but they seem like patsies to me, huh, Rizzle?
the last couple weeks.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Bills do not scare me. They're good. I don't think the Broncos will beat them in Buffalo, but I'm just saying they're not the Chiefs,
It's true.
All right, let's get to some Manscaped here.
Okay. Hey, John, I don't know if you know, I saw an email come in that a little listener review. I'm going to read this for you. It said, hey, dads, I bought a new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. And let me tell you how it changed my life. This new product has incredible precision, provided lasting comfort. For example, my balls are so smooth that I have less friction against my thighs when I go for a jog. My grundle and ass has never been so thin and hair-free that I no longer get dingleberries. And my dit sideburns are so smooth that I get more penetration during sets. Thank you, Manscaped, for changing my life. At the gym, taking a shit, and in bed. Now, John, I didn't write that. I don't know who wrote that in an anonymous email. But it sounds like this person has life-changing experience with Manscaped products. I know that we personally have gotten a new Lawnmower 5.0 that is now in the market.
Mhm.
Incredible. Just when you think that the 4, I remember when the 3.0 came out, I was like, this is incredible. You can never get better than this. And then the 4.0 came out, it was quieter, it was thinner, it was nice. And now you have the 5.0 that has attachments that even have different, it's incredible stuff.
The 5 has a feature where it's like a travel lock so that it doesn't turn on. Now, I've never traveled with it. I don't know why you would travel with it. You
Let's
can go
just,
a week without
months.
manscaping.
Yeah, agreed.
But I have had it where it actually has turned on because it's a very sensitive button. So you can lock it. And the marketing material literally says, so you don't have a suspicious buzzing going on in your suitcase.
Incredible. So if you have not bought your 5.0 Ultra yet, head over to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Remember, use this to replenish. I still use the shampoo to today, and I'll always use the NINDADS code when I need to replenish that. I actually have the chapstick sitting by my bedstand for whatever reason, the ball deodorant, foot deodorant. There's some good products out there that are consumable, so you got to recharge. You got to restock.
Yeah, you can subscribe monthly as well.
It's true. It is true. We've learned that, John.
Be careful about those subscriptions. Manscaped can be a little bit tricky.
That's it. That's all we got this week from Manscaped. Go buy some stuff.
All right, let's buy it. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing here. You and I, once again, we have an episode where we've played games together. Wow.
Look at that.
Novel idea.
Mm,
And the first one, let's talk about Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
we
That's
have
the
to.
one
We
I'm more
have to.
excited to talk about.
So before we talk about it, let's talk about just how far we are. No spoilers or anything for the crowd, but um, I'm on world, I guess you could say 4. Now, I don't want to
Is
say it.
it watery? Is it what kind of world is this? Is
We're
it
talking a little sandy,
sandy? Okay, okay. I
sandy
am
in your
I'm in the
crotch.
same world. Yep.
I feel like that was the natural thing to do, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
It-
it's every Mario game.
of course, of course. Um, yeah, I mean, where do you start, John? I mean, I saw your 90-second review, so 10 out of 10. Let's state the obvious there. That was your
10 out of
score.
10. Yeah.
It seems
That
like
was
we're in
easy.
similar spots, right? I'm going to start by saying that excited to play this game. My first reaction in my mind was going to this game, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. These games now that I get that my kids are now excited to play, right? My fault, guilty. I got them to love Nintendo, right? I'm on it. That's fine. But now they want to play with you, right? I can't remember the last time I got to sit down and enjoy like a Mario game by myself. It just, I mean, and to be honest, I don't actually mind playing with my wife. It's actually a lot of fun. But now with the kids, we started Friday night, and I think I messaged it and mentioned it in Discord, but like it turned into a complete shit show, John, where I had to put my son in timeout. I haven't put my kid in timeout in years. Like, yep, go to your room, shut the door, and like just 10 minutes just to like calm down because he just kept getting so upset over like,
Every
and this
death.
probably had nothing to do with even Mario Wonder. It's just like probably having a bad day or something, right? But yeah, like the death, like I didn't want to be this character. I want to change
What is a
character.
bad day for a young kid on a Sunday?
Maybe a Friday, maybe he's tired. I think this was
Huh,
Friday night.
okay.
He's probably tired,
All right.
right? You know, he had to wake up early, go to school, whatever, the whole 9 yards. So maybe he had a bad day at school. I don't know. Maybe dropped his yogurt on the floor. I don't know. My point was is that it was to the point that it was like I was getting so mad because I just wanted to play the game and I was legit like getting like angry. And I don't get angry. I'm not an angry guy. But I was legit and angry at the situation because, like, I would think I was so upset that he was getting so mad over a video game, and I hate to see that. Video games supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be a family time. That it made me like not even want to play the game anymore, and I was getting so flustered with it. Um,
Was there like a hesitation because like I've run into that with my kids, and I mean even to this day, if like one of my kids is being like rude or something like that, I will just calmly tell them,
yep,
go to your room. Like
yep,
I just say, just go to your room. I don't really get mad at them. I just be like, I don't like the way you're talking to your sister. I don't like, you know what I mean? I say, go to your room,
yeah,
stay in there for a little while. But like, especially when we played video
mm,
games, like, yeah, if my kid was like getting really like, frustrated or whatever, I'd be just like, okay, you're done. Go to your room. And then like I would continue playing without them. You know what I mean? Because if we stopped playing, it's
he
like, oh,
wins.
okay, then
He
you're done,
wins,
but then we're all done, right? It's like, no, we're gonna keep playing and having
and
fun.
you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
No, that's a great point, and you know, get into the parenting moment here, and I don't. I almost look back at it and it's, you know, I feel bad. It's like not who I am, but with him, I get very aggravated and I shout. And I don't usually shout, but I yell and I do yell at him. And I think it's just the frustration of like he talks back sometimes. And I don't know where he gets this from. Because then like the next day he'll be an angel and he's like the sweetest, nicest little kid. So it's like, what's going on in your 7-year-old mind that's like, and I hate to say it, it always leads back to typically video game involvement. Like if I tell my kids, like first of all, they can't play video games Monday through Thursday. It's not even an option. They're not allowed to. So I think they wait for the weekends, right? And then if I say you guys can play from 10 or 9 a.m. to 11, and then we're gonna have lunch, get ready for lunch and relax and watch TV or something, like my daughter will turn it off at 11 on the dot. Like 11:15 comes around, then I'm still telling my kid to turn off the video game. Like, buddy, you got to
Right.
turn it off. Like, told you already. So it's just it's flustering and it really made me upset Friday night and kind of had to regroup. But I will say, so after the kids went to bed, Amy and I went back and we played just the two of us, and we went back and played all the levels that we previously played, so they wouldn't really miss any of the story or anything, and then we could just focus on 100% in those levels. But a few things I want to talk about, sidetracked was, so let's talk about. Have you played multiplayer yet?
No, well, not the
Like,
online stuff, not
like
with a
couch stuff.
person. Yeah,
So
yeah.
one thing that this game does that's super frustrating is that they changed the concept, right? You can no longer jump on people's heads, which I guess is good. In some of the older games, it really helps you get like the tough locations, but I get it. They give you a crown, right? So I'm going to be blunt. I don't fully understand how this crown works. So one of the four players has the crown. Typically, player one starts with it.
Hmm.
If player one dies at any point, the crown shifts to another person. But also throughout the levels, sometimes it just changes the person. I don't know if there's like a point system or something. Whoever has the crown, though, John, is where the screen is centered.
Oh, really?
Yes, and let me tell you, when you're playing with a 7 and 9-year-old and I'm trying to, like, wall jump and jump up top, you see, like, the little bubble that says, like, with an arrow, "Hey, Mario's up here," but I can't see him.
Hmm.
And now my kid who's playing as Yoshi and Nabbit, whoever, they have no clue how to wall jump and get up top. So it's like, you alright, you know what? Just play the level, I'll have to come back and try to explore it later. But it's so frustrating as well because they'll end up killing you because now you're trying to do something on the left side of the screen, and here they are moving to the right, and now the screen's gonna keep moving, and you get smushed between the screen and a pipe, and now you're dead. And it's like, it's absolutely chaos and annoyance, and I looked forever in settings. How do you just make player one give them the crown? Like, period. That's all I want. And
Right.
then what happens is after the level's over, whoever had the crown, John, is now in control of the mini map. And it's like, oh my God, this is like, I go to the shop. No, 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 go to the level over. No, 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 no. Like, and it's like you're yelling at your kid to try to like, and that was part of the Friday night aggravation that was already on top of my son crying over dying. So it was like, I can't handle this game right now. Like, I just want to play it and enjoy it, and I'm not having fun. Um, so that crown thing is like brutal for couch co-op. I did find out, I figured it out. If you hold L and R, you turn into that ghost mode, like the old school bubbling mode, we call it.
Hmm.
So if you do that, the crown automatically jumps to another person, right?
Oh, okay.
Because you're dead. Essentially, you're dead.
Right.
But man, the crown thing is by far, I hate to say it, the worst feature in that game. I
It's
just
hard when you do those multiplayer games because those questions people don't even think about.
mm,
Where is the camera? When you die, does everybody die? There's games
agreed.
where if everybody dies, then you die. But if one person's alive, you're okay. And like that's like how Mario games have been.
Yeah,
It's hard to get perfectly right. Can you hit other players in this game? Right, you go right through them. But in
correct.
previous games, you jump on their heads. So it's better now. But
It's definitely better. I agree. I just the crown thing, I don't know why it has to that was where the screen has to center and how it I don't understand how it chooses who has the crown.
yeah, I
Um,
feel like you should pick the person who will be the captain or the first
agreed.
player and then just leave it instead of
Player 1.
changing
Player
it
1
around.
should always just own the crown.
Right, because you don't want your kid to have the crown.
And then the kids picking the mini map levels and running around and it's like the overview world, whatever, the overworld, whatever you want to
They'll
call it.
they'll
But
pick some level you've already done. It's like, no, we
yeah.
didn't really like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or they're not pushing and then they're pushing R at the start of the screen to change your badge and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I just just want to play the game.
Right. Yep.
But I mean, yeah, I know I did a lot of talking there. So, I mean, what's some of your first interactions, the first assumptions that you've made?
Uh, you know, um, I don't think we really have to talk about the story. There's the same sort of story, except Bowser doesn't kidnap the princess.
That's true.
Bowser becomes a castle.
Well, I suppose we have to be able to
Uh,
play as the princesses.
we have seen like a lot of footage of Wonder, and we all kind of played the demo of Wonder, so I think we've all kind of experienced that. And a lot of this is like, what has become of it? And yeah, there's every level and the Wonder Seed does something different. So every time I play a level, I'm always like jazzed to see what the Wonder
Yeah.
Seed is going to do. And I've seen some really cool things. And I think at this point, we've all seen the Piranha Plant singing, which is
Oh my gosh.
just simply fantastic. I'm not
You
sure.
just want to
I
sit
guess
there and yeah.
you could have done that. I think you can get there and maybe in the Target demo. I only did the first level though.
Mhm.
That is a fantastic, I called it like one of the best levels of all time. Just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, every level is joyous. I found it kind of difficult in the beginning. Like I didn't like
Very.
cakewalk through the first few levels. I was taking my hits.
I agree.
I
Very
finished
difficult.
the first world. I like that the boss fights are similar to like Mario 3, Mario World.
Mhm.
Me, I guess I don't know. Maybe I would have liked to seen like a different kind of boss fight, but I like the way it like you get instead of you don't have to hit him 3 times. Like you turn big and then you turn small.
That was funny, yeah.
Um, so that was good. I When I finished the first world, I went back and I completed all the levels. I got all the flagpoles and all the
Yep.
wonder seeds and all
Now,
that.
did you notice that it's very faint, but when you go to, like if you hit the L and go to the map to look at the levels
Hmm.
that way, there's like a circle with a green check mark behind all of the things. Because, let me tell you why, you're gonna have your flag, you might have 2 or 3 seeds, and then you have your coins.
Hmm.
But you could get all of those things, but you didn't 100% that level. The green check mark will tell you if you don't have it and you have all those things, it means there's a second exit to that level, which might
Uh,
unlock another level. So
yeah, I did notice that.
look for the little circle. It's not that little. It's actually pretty big, and it's a green check mark. It's hard to see it because it's behind all the other things.
Okay.
Um, just what I recommend is scroll through your levels. I'm sure you've done it on at least one level, and then you'll notice the ones that you didn't do it on
Okay.
because it helped me find some hidden levels. I'll just leave it at that. I'm assuming you
Yeah.
found maybe the big hidden level, maybe not.
I don't know. There's a lot of secrets around there's difficult levels that lead to other paths, so it's been fun finding those. Um yeah, I mean it's I, I with the first world I went back and did everything, but I haven't done it since. I'm basically just I'm finishing the level, I'm not repeating anything.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just going to play it that way till I roll credits
And then
and
go
then
back.
I'll go back and do everything because I feel like you're
Okay.
going to gain skills,
I agree with
badges,
that. That will
and
help.
it might be more fun to say, "Oh, I have to get this thing. It's
Mm.
kind of tricky, but I have this high jump now and I'll use that."
Or maybe,
So,
again, I have no idea, but maybe you unlocked a new character of some sort. Now you want to try them and play with
yeah,
them. And I agree, if you beat the whole game and 100% it, then there's nothing left to do.
right. Yeah, so I don't want 100% everything as I go. So I'm just kind of going straight through and I'm loving it. Like every
Me
level is
too.
so much fun. I switch characters a lot. Like every
Same.
level or two, I'll actually switch characters. I like that they don't have unique skills because I remember playing Mario 2 and I would use,
Mhm.
I'd use Peach a lot because her float was sort of a crutch. But like now it's just like you could pick a character. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna play Daisy. I'm gonna play Peach. I'm gonna play all these different guys. I haven't played Yoshi or Nabbit yet.
Yeah. Well, so
I'll try
speaking of
Yoshi.
Yoshi, when you play co-op,
Mhm.
we talked about not being able to jump on people's heads, but as you saw in the trailers, you can jump on Yoshi's
Right.
body, right?
Yep.
Which is, by the way, equally as frustrating as jumping on somebody's head.
You played a game fairly recently where that was happening. I can't remember what it was.
What, jumping on somebody's head like
You
that?
can kind of accidentally jump on other people when you don't intend to. I forget what game that was.
Huh, I don't know.
Um,
But I agree with you. I'm also I mean, I'm loving this game. It's so fun and so smooth. What is I don't think this is a spoiler. What's your favorite badge so far?
I like the floating jump where you kind of float a little bit at the end. It can be
With the hat?
useful. Uh, the hat?
Yeah, with the one you hold the hat and float.
Oh no, no, not that one. There's another one where it kind of like gives you a little float.
Oh, I think
Um,
I know which one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And there's one where if you crouch, you can then do a high jump. That's come in handy.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah,
the
that's kind of
most
a
part, I use the dolphin one for like water levels.
of course.
Nothing has been necessary, and like I said, like when you have to try to get all the little 10 coin things and all that, then maybe I'll be a little more choosy with badges. But right
Yeah.
now, I don't. I whatever I kind of if I get something cool, I equip it and I leave it until the next thing, and I'm not going out of my way right now.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good point. It's
yeah.
I agree with you. We sometimes I'll play a level and I know there was a tricky coin somewhere that I didn't get that I might say, let me just replay and get the coin because I'll forget where that was maybe or
Right.
something. But for
Yeah.
the most part, I've been trying to just move on, like you said, because there's going to be things along the way that are going to help you.
Yep.
Um, but yeah,
One thing that
fun.
one little annoyance with the overworld map is when you look at the level from the overworld, it shows you the wonder seeds and which ones are missing.
Hmm.
It doesn't show you if you did the flagpole.
Agreed. Or the
Um,
coins, right? just the seeds.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it just shows you the difficulty and the wonder seeds. So you have to hit L, and then you look through the list. But it's like I wish it would just show it. I want to walk around and see, like, you'll see those levels like a golden flagpole or something.
Yes.
It would
Yep.
be easier just to know without. So I feel like it becomes too much about looking through the menu instead of the overworld. I'd rather like look through the overworld.
Yeah. And try
I
to
like having
explore it.
both, but yeah, I want to see it visually, and I can go, oh, I didn't do that one. Just walk over there. But it's just a very minor gripe. I don't think they'll fix it. I'm learning from Nintendo; they don't really make those kinds of changes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, the gameplay is fantastic, and I like that it doesn't feel like it's going to be a very long game if you just want to
Yeah,
roll
it does it.
credits.
I agree.
But at the same time, I cannot wait to go back and just do all the things.
Agreed.
A lot of
And
fun.
speaking of the overworld, I found that the world we're both on now,
Mhm.
um, like tons of little hidden secrets in the overworld where I didn't
Yeah,
really see
yeah.
that with a lot of the other previous worlds, which was odd.
I know. Yeah, there's definitely been more, and you have to really look around a lot more,
Which is
and you'll
fun and
find whole
awesome.
levels. Yeah.
But
Yep.
but the other it was which was weird because the previous three worlds didn't really have that.
Yep. And if you go
So
back to Mario World, the only way you find levels is by finding secret exits. Here, you found it just
correct.
by walking.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, that was great. And I was gonna say, oh yeah, and then there's like different level types. You've got the Wiggler race, which is fun.
Oh, those are a lot of fun.
What is your opinion of the what is it called? Party search or search party?
Those are the ones you have to find like the 5 coins or something.
Yeah, and it's
I
like
like them.
it's like you're just searching and searching and searching, and it says, maybe friends can help you. Although listening to your story, I'm not sure how helpful that would be.
Well, correct, right? And I'm going to tell you this: when you play with more than two people, you can't play online. So
Oh,
all of
really?
those ghosts and standees that you see while
Yeah.
playing solo go away when you play with more than two
Oh,
people.
wow.
So 3 and 4 people, now you're on your own, which is, I mean, irrelevant. I guess if you really wanted to, you don't want the hints, you could turn them off. But there are no hints anymore. Like there's no help.
That'd be tricky because even if though you have two or three people on the screen, that you can't really separate from each other and search the whole
Correct.
level.
It's it's
Um,
it's tough. And again, I'm not trying to sound negative here because I don't know the solution, right? And
yeah.
and it doesn't. It's not that like the game sucks because of it. The game is fabulous. I'm having a blast, and I'm having. So we played for an hour before the show tonight, and it was the opposite of what happened Friday night. The kids were laughing, they were dying, didn't care. They were both Yoshis, and they were just having fun. And I was like, this is what
Evan,
game night's
Evan,
supposed to be.
Evan just playing terrified. Like,
Yeah,
I died again. That's hilarious.
deep down saying, "Oh, fucking shit." Uh, but yeah, no, it's that is a feature just to know if you play co-op, you can't have it online, so you don't see the little standees and stuff. But
Mhm.
it's
I
fun.
like the badge challenge levels, and the search party.
The
I
badge
like
ones,
those sort
the
of theme
search
levels.
parties.
They help break it up a little bit.
The other one is the knockout. You have to kill all the enemies in a certain amount of time.
Have I
You
done that one?
Yeah, so I know because we talked in Discord and you didn't mention that one. So there's the
Oh,
Wiggler
okay.
races, there's the finding ones, and there's one called KO Arena or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten that one.
Really? Not, again, not a spoiler. You go into a pipe and it will say like 0 of 5 enemies. You gotta kill the 5 enemies. You go into another pipe and maybe now 0 of 7 enemies. You gotta kill them and go to the next pipe. I think there's 3 little areas.
I
And I
mean,
think you're being
that's a
timed.
spoiler, though. I
That's not a spoiler. I
You
thought
said
you saw.
not a spoiler.
I mean, it's the
I mean, it's
same thing as
fine.
the Wiggler race.
Oh, I know.
I can't believe you haven't. I feel like I've played
Yeah,
3 of them.
I wonder if that's a no. I haven't. I haven't seen that. That's
Are you
interesting.
sure?
I don't. No, I don't recall it at all. Maybe it's a multiplayer thing. I don't
It
know.
definitely is not. It's no
Okay.
different than like the Wiggler race.
Like I said, since World 2, I'm basically like, go to the level, go to the level. I do all the levels I see, but I'm just basically like, go, go, go.
Oh,
I found
there
like
are some off the beaten path, I will say.
yeah. I found a secret world. There's just a lot to find, and I can't wait to really bear down and start getting everything.
Yeah.
But I'm almost like antsy where it's like I'm just kind of going for the credit. I'm not like racing or anything. I'm just like making it a point to just play the game through and beat
Mhm.
it and then come back. So
No.
it's fantastic. 10 out of 10. And as I said a couple weeks ago in the Discord, if you're not interested in playing this game, what are you doing on a Nintendo Discord? You know what I mean? Like, what do
I
you?
agree.
And it's the same thing with Spider-Man 2, which is a game I'll talk about later. If you're not gonna play, if you're not interested in playing Spider-Man on PlayStation, why do you got a PlayStation for it? You know,
It's not even
it's
about Spider-Man.
same thing.
I mean, again, never played it, but it's more than just Spider-Man, right? I
It's
mean,
just a
it's
flagship
yeah,
property on the system. If
sure.
you can't enjoy Super Mario Wonder, then why are just go get a different console? Because like, why are you here? Like, this is why we are all here. We play all these other games, but if you don't like Mario, Dylan, if you don't like Mario or
Wow.
Zelda, what are you doing here, pal? Dylan, I find it shocking. If none of your friends are interested in Mario or Zelda, Dylan, I think this is going to go down as probably not the game of the year because of Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah,
but
I could
this
see
is
that.
the most polished,
Yeah.
beautiful, colorful game of the year, probably on the Nintendo Switch right
And
now.
you gotta
It
give
looks
credit
beautiful.
where it's due. They tried like hell to be different than every other Mario game. And don't get me wrong, it has the basics, right? But it's
Yeah.
unique in its own sense. And like to your point, the I love just seeing what the next world's gonna look like and how do you make the desert different? How do you make a water level different? You know, how do you make these things different? And they did a decent job from what I've seen so far. And
Yep.
it's an absolute blast. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. Yep. Love
So
it. The other game that we've both played, although I
hmm,
don't think you've played in a while, is Wargroove 2.
Wargroove too.
When did
I know.
this came out since our last show?
I know. I feel like we've already talked about it on the show.
Well, the
Came out on
last
like a Tuesday, didn't
Oh, it
it?
came out. Yeah, it came out October 5th, so it
We
was
talked
a
about it
few
on
days
last
before
episode.
our last show. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're farther into it. Where are you? I'm less concerned about spoilers in this game because I don't know anybody
Yeah.
else who's playing it besides us. Where are you in this game?
Um,
Because
I
you quit. You quit on.
definitely
You stopped.
beat. I didn't quit. I love this game. By the way, this is like a top 10 game of the year for me.
Oh my god.
I'm that in love with this. I just there's two other games, Mario Wonder and another game I'll talk about a little bit later that I had to play for obvious reasons. But I will be coming back to this game shortly. I think I am. I definitely beat the first two main campaigns. I beat the tutorial campaign, the first campaign, and the second campaign. Um, and then as far as the roguelite conquest mode, I think I beat the first two campaigns on that one as well.
Okay.
That makes sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I started maybe the third story campaign, but like one level maybe.
Right.
Who's the third one about? Have you started that?
The third campaign. That's
Yeah.
the pirates.
Oh, then I did not. I beat the second one and I didn't start the third one yet.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
I did. I beat all I beat all the campaigns.
Nice.
I was really excited to play the pirate campaign because we had talked about this.
Well, that's what we
That's what
thought
I
this
thought the whole
whole
game
game.
was.
Yeah, tropical islands and skulls and
So
caves
yeah,
and pirates and like yeah, that's what I thought the whole game was as well.
right. I throttled down the difficulty on this game to what they say is normal. I hit a couple levels. You know how Wargroove is; the levels can take forever.
It
And
could
they if you look at the default difficulty, they have it on like 3 peppers. It's a bit silly.
really.
Yeah, the default is hard. That's what the first game was like too.
Yeah.
But this time around, I don't love this game. This is not on my top 10 this year. But I throttled it down just to normal. And it's still a nice little challenge, but it's a lot more fair. And yeah, no, I was really excited to do the pirate campaign. And then there is a campaign that I don't know, I thought was supposed to pull it was the one there's only one campaign that's locked.
Oh, and that's the one.
You can do them in any order you want.
Yeah.
Once you beat all of them, then it unlocks the last one.
Okay.
And I thought it would be like, let's bring everything together. And
Sure.
I guess it kind of does, but not in any kind of
Right.
story way. It's just like this really big, it's not a long campaign. It's like
I was
one
gonna
or
say
two
that one's
levels.
shorter.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's this big chaotic thing. And yeah. I overall, I do not like that they broke up Wargroove had one big long
Mm.
campaign that tutorialized all the way through it.
Get more
You know,
complicated the further you went.
well, not yeah, I wouldn't say complicated, but like
Well,
they
it adds
introduced
more.
water levels after a while, and they introduced the giants
No,
after a while.
you see,
Like,
but I disagree. I like how it splits it up, and like campaign one is pretty much just all ground like units, right? Second campaign introduces a lot of aerial stuff, the dragons, the witches, the harpies, etc. And now I'm assuming the third campaign with the pirates introduces all the water um
yeah,
units. So I kind of
yeah.
like that because, like, for example, I'm assuming the pirate one doesn't have any air units. That's kind of how right? For the most part, like,
I
you
don't
have the
think there's air units.
no, so they keep them separated, which makes the game, I think, less complicated and more straightforward.
No, but it doesn't. It doesn't because when you play the roguelike mode,
It's
you've
yeah,
got water, air, you got everything, and you
yeah,
haven't learned those things. And then when you
true,
play the campaign, I mean, I was 30 hours into the game before I learned what the Kraken does, but I had seen the Kraken.
yeah.
They added a few units from the first game. So it just felt like it took forever to introduce all of them. And plus you could have done any one of them in a row. So who knows what your experience is. And I played Wargroove, and I feel bad for anybody who didn't play Wargroove who was here because it's like I don't feel like I know what's going on. At the very least, I would say if you wanted to avoid that sort of pain, don't play the roguelite mode until you've finished the campaigns,
I do
all
agree
of
with
them.
that. I do agree with that.
It was a weird way to break it up. None of the stories are very good. The pirate level was the easiest to understand and probably the
Okay,
one I enjoyed the most because there was a more heartfelt story going on there,
just as
and
much dialogue, I'm assuming.
it's still chatty.
It's
Yeah, it's
so
still
chatty
chatty.
for
And it has these levels that aren't even battles. You just like walk, 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 talk to somebody.
yeah,
Walk,
I don't
walk,
like
talk to
that.
somebody. It's like, what are you doing?
I agree with that too. Nobody
I don't
wants
know
to
what they were
do
going
that.
for. There are puzzle levels. I had to make a note of that because the the first game had puzzle levels that were interesting at first, but got so hard and complex by the end. Like I
Mhm.
didn't get anywhere near the end of them.
I remember I
Um,
had to look up some in the first game, like how to beat the level.
they literally feel like they were generated by a computer that used
Oh,
code to sort of come up with the most cryptic things. It doesn't feel like it was made by a human. It feels random. It's just not satisfying. But there are puzzle levels in Wargroove too. I think pretty late. I'm not even sure if they're in those first two campaigns, but they had in the pirate campaign for sure. They had a puzzle level, and the way they changed it was you had one turn to do everything, and if you didn't, you had to repeat the turn, just like a puzzle level. But then if you did that one, they did another one and another one that sort of continued this little story.
hmm,
And then if you were having trouble, they had a hint mode. So every time you performed an action, it would say if that was the right action or the wrong action. They wouldn't like immediately make you start again, but they just let you know if that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. And there was one where I just turned it on because I was completely flummoxed.
hmm.
But they did make a comeback, so they're more accessible and better than the first game where they locked like 30 stars
Yep.
behind it and they were mind numbing. Um, And the other thing I really am not satisfied with this game is what character am I? Like you literally use villains early on in the game,
It's
and then
very
there's
confusing.
you're using bad guys. The Wargroove story was, you are like Cherry Stone, right? The good
Yeah.
guys. And then you have these enemies, and then you eventually win over the enemies, and then you all work together at the end. And they kind of like because they didn't come up with all new characters for this game, they had to find reasons for you to battle them. So when you do when you do the roguelite mode, it's like, oh, like literally the story of the roguelite mode is I have to get a Christmas present and I'm gonna go fight my way to go find a Christmas present. It's like the dumbest thing. Like I understand stories are not always important or whatever, but put me in a mindset.
Yeah.
It was just so dumb. It was like they were play acting a roguelite mode. It's like, why can't it be a real roguelite mode? Why can't we
Yeah.
have a
No,
real enemy?
I mean, you bring up a lot of good reasons. I just, for me, I think the gameplay. I agree. The story mode was so chatty. There were certain parts of it I was just literally pushing A.
Mhm.
But I think when you get into the crux of the actual physical gameplay of the game, and the different unit styles and how each character you do the critical hits and you want to make sure they're kind of stationed to the right spots to get their critical hits off, and it's that part of it is so much fun for me
Mhm.
that I try to forget all that other story nonsense and garbage because I agree with you. It is when you compare it to Wargroove 1. But at the same time, it's the same gameplay that the first one had so much greatness in. I don't know. I haven't played the pirate one yet. You said that's the best one, so I'm excited for it. But I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it. It's fun. It's an easy game to play while watching TV with the wife or anything because you can just look up. It's not an action game, right? So if it's your turn and you didn't
Mhm.
realize and you find yourself watching TV for 5 minutes, it's not a big deal. You go look back down and you're fine. It's not like you're
You can
pausing
play
this.
without volume, you can play
Yeah.
without headphones
So
on,
it's an easy game, and, like, to be honest, that's one of those games that I wouldn't really need to play in the TV. It's not that exciting, like, it's a perfect handheld game,
Mhm.
so
They
I think
have
that's
did
one of
you
the reasons
realize
why
did you I don't know if you played did you play handhelds all the whole
I
time,
mostly
or
handheld. I've played both, but I'm
okay?
mostly handheld.
Because when you play on the TV, the map is zoomed way out,
Correct, but
and
you
when
can
you play
change it with
handheld, it's zoomed in.
can't you change it with the right joystick?
You can't change it
I thought you moved in and out,
on the TV. No, you can there's some things you can do, but for the most part, when you're on the TV, it's all zoomed out.
so you see, like, the whole map?
Right. And when you play handheld, you can actually choose the option between zoomed out the same way, but it'll be a lot smaller because it's a little screen,
Yeah,
or zoomed in. It's weird. I don't know
yeah,
why they did that.
I don't know
And did
either.
you notice the only missing mechanic was you can't combine your guys anymore. Remember you used to, or am I wrong on this? Am I just thinking Advance Wars?
I don't think
No.
you could
In Wargroove,
combine
couldn't you take like a soldier and move them on top of another soldier and combine them
and, like, add their health, like, if it was a 3 and a
and add
4,
their
they'd have
health
7?
together? Yeah. So like if you had a regular soldier and you moved it on top of a regular soldier, it would combine them. Am I wrong on that? Or is that
I
is
mean,
that
you played
Advance
Wargroove
Wars?
1 a second playthrough. I only played it the original, so I mean, it
Maybe
sounds in my mind like a good idea, but I don't know.
maybe I'm just, yeah, no, joining units. Oh wait, no, they say that's an Advance Wars, huh? Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm just remembering. You can do that in Advance Wars.
Okay,
Maybe
maybe it's
maybe
an
that's
advanced
what I
course.
think. I was thinking it was missing, but yeah, I guess it's
I'm
not.
not I'm gonna say it's not true either because
Okay,
I feel like I
I
don't
think I'm wrong.
ring a bell, and I'm not familiar with Advanced Wars to get
All
them
right.
confused between the 2.
Yeah. Overall, I was just a little disappointed in Wargroove 2. I thought it could have been a lot better.
Sure.
But whatever. Like you said, the basic gameplay is fun, but
Mhm.
had so much more potential.
Hmm.
All right. Now I okay. Let me talk about one of my games first, and then I'll let you talk about yours.
Sure.
The two main games that I've been playing for the last couple weeks on PlayStation, because I've been basically all Wargroove and Mario Wonder on the Switch. I finished Baldur's Gate 3. I could not be more proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back here. This was a very hard, complex game to play through. I'd never played D&D before, and there were so many times while I played this game, I was like, well, I finished Act 1. Maybe I'll just end it here. It was just it's hard to explain it unless you've played it. There's so much inventory management and strategy and whatever. And I just felt like as I got towards the end, I wouldn't have a chance. And I made it through. I got better as I went, and rolled credits, 51 hours. Feels like 81 hours.
50, well, that's not bad. Dumb question really quick. I think I've asked this
Mm-hmm.
one other time. Is this a turn-based style combat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, kind of like, I guess kind of like Mario and Rabbids. You have a certain amount of space to walk, and then you can attack, and then you can walk when you're done attacking, so you have like a total amount. Yeah, but it is a game you can play multiple times over. All I want to do is play it again. Honestly, as soon as I was done, I
Wow.
was like, I want to play this game again. And the reason why is there's a whole bunch of possible party members you can find in the game. I had I had mine between like 4 people. I could have myself, and I could have room for 3, and I had my final party was Lazel, Gale, and Shadowheart. Shadowheart was a cleric. Gale was a mage. Lae'zel is like my tank, and my avatar was basically a paladin, a tank too. But like all I want to do is play it again, and I want to find some different characters. There was one character, I don't know her name, but she's like a devil girl. That's my best explanation of her. And all I wanted to do was play the whole game with her, but I had done some action before I even met her, and she was pissed off at me, and she would not join my party. And I want to play again, and I want to get her in my party. Yeah, there's a bunch of characters I never saw in the game because the side quests, you play an open world game and the people have like little exclamation point over their head.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if I click on them as a side quest, that doesn't happen in this game.
Huh.
Sometimes you walk into a situation and it'll go right into a cutscene and get it going.
But if
But
you
a lot
just
of
walk
times,
close to the NPC?
yeah, you like you're walking on the trail and you see a couple people over a dead body, and it's like, oh, like let's go right into a story sequence. But most of the time, you just have to talk to people, and you might get a quest out of it, depending on how you talk.
Mhm.
So there's a bunch of characters I never saw in the game, really popular ones too. So all I want to do is play again, but I can't right now. But the game has 3 main acts, and what I love about it is it doesn't feel like it gets harder and harder as you go. Certainly, the enemies are a little more powerful, but I almost felt like the game got a little easier as I went because I got better figuring out the combat systems,
Yeah.
and I got better figuring out what spells I should be using. Everything was so overwhelming, but then by the end, I felt really confident in my party and I could handle battles really well. And I love that. It didn't get super hard. Like, I like that. The story is great. I don't usually these fantasy stories are like whatever. But like right from the beginning, they basically, you've been captured, you're on a ship. They put this worm with teeth into your eyeball and it buries into your brain,
Huh.
and you're going to turn into this hideous monster. And over time, and you and some party members you find in the beginning, you all have these different backgrounds and different skills, but you all have this like shared goal of getting this worm out of your heads,
Oh,
and it keeps you together for the whole game.
jeez.
It's fantastic. I romanced 3 people in the game. I sent you pictures.
I enjoyed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Uh, yep, Lae'zel, Gale, and I will say redacted. And the redacted one was probably the most naughty picture I was able to send you.
The most naughty.
You can only romance one at a time. So if you're playing this game, after you romance, you can go for second encounters. But I would suggest break up with the person so that you can start working on somebody else. Unless you
Right.
just want to have a monogamous relationship, but what's the fun in that? But yeah, I played it on easy mode. I am proud I did because it was still hard, and they were battles I had to repeat a couple times. And if I had to repeat those 4 times, I don't know if I would have gotten through this whole game. So play it on easy mode. It's fine. It's great. It was tricky on PS5 because if you play on PC, you can just use your mouse and click on spells and manage your inventory really quickly. Just drag, drag, drag. On PS5, you have these radial menus. And I mean, I'm not even joking. My main character had 8 radial menus because there's radial menus for every item you can use that you're holding, and every spell that you can do, and every sword attack you can do. And you just have to constantly manage these radial menus. And there were times I would sit down to play the game and I would spend a half hour and I would just manage my radial menus and then save it and then do something else.
Hmm.
But it's absolutely a game of the year contender. I would say if it wasn't for Tears of the Kingdom, it would be the easy game of the year.
Wow.
It's and the replay value of this game is practically infinite. I will probably play this game through 3 or 4 or 5 times when it's all said and done over the years. And
Wow.
you can have all these different characters and you can make all these different decisions and all these different romances. And I just can't wait to see if there's DLC and what else they do with this game. This is a legend game. Absolutely fantastic. Love it to absolute death.
Nice.
I have one other game, but let's talk about your game that you played.
Yes, I played Dwerve. I've been waiting for this game, John, literally what, 2 years probably. I've been talking about this. It got originally delayed. It came out on Steam many years ago. Supposed to come to the Switch. It got delayed and delayed, and I just said it's probably never going to happen. Um, and then Nintendo Dads got me a code. Thankfully, I actually ended up doing a review, so it should be up on the channel if you want to take a quick look and see some gameplay and my thoughts on it. But essentially, my thoughts are that it's funny because the game style you saw, I think you saw the video, John, is it's very similar looking to like Wargroove from like the pixelation art style in a way, which I thought was odd because that's the game I was playing before it. But Dwerve is a unique game where it's like this. It's a action adventure RPG, right? So it has like the overlook view of like a Zelda style world and walking around and finding your little collectibles. You play as a dwarf, and it's a cute little clever story about the dwarves had to leave their mountain because they kind of dug too deep and trolls started coming after them, so they kind of moved outside and lived outside in the valleys, and then eventually the trolls started attacking the camp, and which they thought was odd because trolls go in the sunlight and they're supposed to turn to stone. And then you dive deeper into the story, and they created this elixir that lets them go outside in the sunlight. But the cool part about this action adventure game is you'll be walking, and the whole battle mechanic is actually a tower defense game. So you don't just really have like a sword and a shield where you're hacking and slashing. You have to set up your towers and traps to kind of stop the enemies from coming, right? And it's tough. You got to use the environment as also part of your to create paths and shields to try to control where the enemies are going to go and how they're going to attack you, right? And there's all sorts of crossbows to like mortars to saw blades, uh, and there's actually a ton of them. How many you can unlock throughout the game? And they do a really good job at pacing them. And you're limited. You can't just do unlimited amounts of these things. In the beginning, you only can do like two, and you got to find these power stones that allow you to use more because each essentially trap or turret that you use, you have to use power stones. Uh, and it's a lot of fun. The story just gets a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper as this young dwarf just has to go help and save his father and help his village. I will say at first it started very outdoorsy, and then it kind of moved into the mountains and the mines and the caves, and it dragged out. I don't want to say it dragged out, but I just feel like they stayed in the mountains for a really long time, and they kept going to new areas, right? And they try to change it up. Like one area is like a fungus mushroom area, the next one's lava, one of them's gems. So they try to keep it going. There's also parts I felt a little bit like Wargroove, John, where it did just get a little lengthy for chatting, like unnecessary chatting. Uh, I liked it also because it kind of rewards you if you do kind of explore off the beaten path. There's things you can find, and you can find keys and chests where you get upgrade material. So then you can go upgrade all of your turrets and your traps and things along those lines. Which I also love is kind of like how Mario Wonder, you can kind of change your play style with the badges right at the start of every battle. This is
Hmm.
also kind of like that, where there's a workbench like everywhere, right? There's tons of workbenches where you just go to the workbench and you can change which traps you want to put in your build. So you only can really hold four at a time, right? The X, Y, A, B buttons are your four traps that you can hold. And then there's also skill upgrade trees, right? So you can change those at the workbench as well, where you can sell the upgrades and get your upgrade, currency right back instantly, and there's no penalty. So it's nice. It's also a little pain because you have to keep like, oh, I want to use this one. All right, let me go sell all of those upgrades and buy these ones, and then the next battle you want to sell those ones and buy those ones. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's also nice because you can do it, right? You're not locked into I upgraded this trap to the mats and now I wish I didn't because it's not good for this battle. They have some boss battles which are really unique and fun. I'm loving this game. I'm probably 10 hours in or 8 hours in. I'm not quite done yet. I think I'm getting close, but I am not done. It's just it's everything I wanted. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's I'm having a lot of fun with it. So, Dwerve. It came out a couple weeks ago. I think it's around $20 ish on the eShop. Well worth it. It's a unique gameplay, unique style, and a fun little story.
Nice. Incredibly undermarketed, I would say, because I remember it was supposed to
Yeah,
come out like what 4 months ago, and it just that day you were like looking for it and it just didn't come out. And there
Correct,
was kind of like no announcement.
and then I
And
think I found on Twitch or something that they said it got
yes,
delayed.
by the way, like,
Yeah.
okay. And then it came out, it doesn't even have a Metacritic score. It doesn't even have
No,
an entry on Metacritic.
which
Like,
is
it's so
and maybe
weird.
I'm just hyping it up as so much because I love this type of gameplay, game style, unique game, and maybe a lot of people don't even know it's out there, but this is a sleeper in my eyes. You wanna check this out. It's a ton of fun. Um, the sad part is, so I looked it up, I saw there was this Dwerve plushie, and it was a really solid plushie. I mean, he's a dwarf, he has this blue hair, he's kinda cool, unique looking, and when I
I
started
mean,
doing more
sounds like
research,
it's a clown.
no. When I started doing research on the plushie though, John, I think it was one of those, like, pre-orders that if we got 5,000, we're gonna be able to order the 5,000 plushies.
Oh, like a
And they
Kickstarter type thing?
yeah, and they didn't meet it, so I don't think they're available. I don't think they ever built them.
Huh. I
So
mean,
no
I
plushie.
mean, yeah, I mean they don't really market the game all that much. So I don't it's not surprising, I guess, but
I agree.
it's so interesting. Like
But now
you're
half
spending
human
all this time to build a game and you have no budget for like PR or what, it's just it's weird to me. Like
is it just me? I thought Half Human Games was a decent sized company. Or no, is that something you never even heard of?
I've never even heard of them.
Okay, so maybe
What
I'm
else
just
have they done? Do we know?
I'm trying to figure out. Maybe I'm just so locked in because I've been talking about this game for the last few years
Mhm.
that I don't know, their website blows.
I mean, their website is
You can't
crafting
it's just
interactive pixel sagas from all over the world. They
and
have
then
the
you have
old
this
Twitter logo.
it's just click their social. That's all it is.
It's like it's so weird. It's like they don't put any. I don't have Twitter anymore,
Why
but
not just say these are the games we've made? Maybe they don't have a beta library.
I mean, their last post is October 12th. Dwerve is now available on Nintendo Switch. And then the one before that, September 28th, they updated their cover photo with the release date.
But you'd think they would at least post some screenshots and stuff of the game since then.
Yeah, like every day, like, people are playing. Here's a review we got. This guy Drew
Yeah.
really loves it,
If they're a small company trying to grow, but
it's just bizarre. I mean, like if you're smart, but it's like it always surprises me because these companies can make video games
I
and then they
know, and they're
get I don't want to say marketing is easy, but they get the thing that anybody can do, good or bad. Maybe you do bad marketing, but at least you do something, and
agreed.
it's like you don't even have a Metacritic score. It's just weird to me. That's so weird.
I agree.
But I'll never forget when it was supposed to come out and they just didn't put it
It
out.
just didn't happen.
Just didn't show up. Um,
Uh,
okay, so yeah, like Friday was Spider-Man 2 and Mario Day. I played mostly Spider-Man 2 because my wife and I are exchanging the Mario Wonder cart back and forth,
okay.
and she's not going to play Spider-Man 2 right now. Spider-Man 2 was incredible. Not a surprise, really. I think it is. I think it is PlayStation's highest rated game of the year, although I think Baldur's Gate 3 was higher. Um, Absolutely fantastic. If you played Spider-Man or Miles Morales, it's just more of essentially the same thing. There's some tweaks to the gameplay. You have web wings now. But for the most part, it's just more of that. The thing that is really incredible about this game is the first game was Peter Parker. Miles Morales was about Miles Morales, and it was a smaller game. Came out like a couple of years after Spider-Man. This one is Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and you get to switch between the two of
Ah,
them. They interact with each other constantly throughout the game. It's not like you're just picking your character, like
yeah, yeah.
they're talking. They're working with each other. Peter Parker is a science genius. Miles Morales is a student. And it is so cool. They have these, when you do battle in Spider-Man games, they have finishers, right? And if you have this meter that builds up and you can use the meter to heal yourself or do a finisher or a couple of other things. Usually when you do a finisher, it is this, and I'm telling you, Insomniac games, they're just geniuses at what they do. Just in-game, you go from your fighting to completely smooth, not a cutscene, like an in-game cutscene where it goes into a finisher move, which might involve Spider-Man doing a backflip and they always are cool. And in this game, like sometimes you'll do battle and there might be, so today I was fighting with Black Cat, and I love her. I think she was in the first Spider-Man. Love her character. And I'm fighting with Black Cat, and every time I did a finisher, she would like come in through a portal, do a move, and I would interact and use my web, and we would work together. And it was like, oh my God, every time it happened, I was just like, big smile would come on my face. It's just so freaking cool. And then Peter and Miles will do those kind of finishers. It's fantastic. The game is so good. It has a really cool story. The general story is Peter Parker is looking for a job. It's just funny to actually say out loud. He's looking for a steady job so he can pay bills and whatever. But he's Spider-Man. He's like saving the whole city, but nobody knows who he is. And he doesn't make any money from it. And he starts off as Miles Morales' teacher because he got a job as a science teacher at his school. But he immediately loses the job because they had to go fight Sandman. And so now he's looking for a job, and you can see him holding bills that are unpaid. It's kind of weird. He's a science genius, but he just decides he doesn't want a job because he needs to save everybody. So that seems to be the storyline that's going forward. And there's Kraven the Hunter is the main boss. I don't really know who he is, but he's been around in previous Spider-Man material. It's just fantastic. I'm absolutely loving it. And if you have a PlayStation, you should be playing Spider-Man 2. It's the Mario of the console at this point.
Nice.
It's an Insomniac. It's just incredible what they do. It is. You just never play a game like that. And I was realizing today, I was like, oh yeah, when you beat enemies in this game, you don't have to pick up little shitty gems on the floor. You know, when you play a game and you kill an enemy and you go get all the shit on the floor.
Of course.
It's like you just beat them and then you just move on with your day. It's great. It's fantastic.
But sometimes it's satisfying, John, to pick up the little gems.
Sometimes it is, but the battle is so seamless and smooth and beautiful. It's like, it's great that I don't have to I can just go and do something cool and I don't have to pick up worthless gems.
So is it not really upgrades and stuff like that? Or there is?
Oh yeah, there's skill trees and
Okay.
you upgrade all various powers. There's tech skills and some of the same machines you had to unlock previously, and you just make yourself a little bit stronger, and mostly different strategies. There's all of that. It's the usual kind of nonsense. You level up and all that. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a different story, and you're using the two of them. Same locations too. Like I'm at a point in the game where they said I need to go to Coney Island, which I love because it's like New York and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to go to Coney Island. But I think Coney Island, might have existed, but there's locations in this game that existed in the first game too. It still takes place in New York City.
Okay.
And so in that way, it's like Tears of the Kingdom. The location's the same, but there will be some differences. But it's just such a fantastic series. Whatever. It's great. So a little buggy. I've run into a couple bugs. Yeah. I ended up in a room and I couldn't interact with all of the things that had dots on them. And I was like, what am I missing? And eventually I gave up and restarted checkpoint, and then it worked. And I was like, oh shit, that was a bug.
That's always the toughest because in your back of your mind, you want to believe there's no bugs.
Right.
And then just at which point is it me? Am I missing the obvious, or is there really something wrong here? And it's that fine line. Sometimes it's hard to.
And the opposite is the same too. Like if a game is too buggy, oftentimes you just put it down and I'll come back to it because when you run into trouble, your first thought is, oh, it might be a bug. And then it's not, but it's it screws with your head because you're like, oh, this must be a bug. And you're like, no, I just missed it.
Or in Sports Story, it'd be the opposit. You couldn't figure it out. You're like, it's got to be a bug. It's got to be.
Why is my fishing pole stuck in the water? I had it happen today where the background music just stopped playing and I had to save and close it out. It's a little buggier than you'd want it to be. But it's not. It's been okay. So that's it.
Nice.
All right. We've had a busy week of playing games. All right. So let's get down to business here. Some announcements. We have season 5 of 90-second reviews has begun. I have a 90-second review of Wargroove 2.
Yes.
I have a 90-second review of Skull Island Rise of Kong. Fantastic. I did a first look for the Nintendo dads on this one as well. This game is bad.
I should do that as we're talking.
This game is really bad.
I'll tell you
And
what
then
though, I don't watch Twitch very often, John, but I enjoyed watching this. I don't know if it was
I enjoyed
the
doing it.
enjoyment of watching you struggle, or if it was just the enjoyment of I don't know what it was, but I enjoyed it.
I love bad reviews, and as soon as I got wind that this game was getting like really bad reviews, I went to Justin and said, "Justin, we have to do this game." And yeah, I really enjoyed sitting. I was like all excited to do Twitch, and I was going to play through this crappy game, and it is so crappy in its boredom. Yeah, I leave it to my 90-second review. I don't want to talk about it, but it is terrible, very terrible. And then Super Mario Brothers Wonder 90-second review.
Another good
And
one.
then we have are you calling this a 3-minute review of Dwerve?
I don't know what I'm calling it, but it's about a 3-minute review.
Drew did a 3-minute review. You can find that on the Nintendo Dad's channel. You can also find it simulcast on our channel as well.
Yep.
Dwerve. Your review got like a couple
Dwerve!
hundred views so far. So
Listen, I don't do it
the
often. This is fun
the
fact. The second review I've ever done, John. Do you remember the first?
the lack of marketing, the lack of marketing of Dwerve is your benefit.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. You're probably the only review on the internet.
I should send it to them and say, "Here you go. Here's a freebie. Here's a free Twitter post for you."
If you go to if you go to YouTube and you say
Just type in Dwerve and see what comes up.
Dwerve review, I'm going to say Dwerve review. You are second on that list. Your Nintendo Dad's review is there. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see
I don't
our
think I ever
version.
we never published it, did we?
No, I published it because
Oh,
I
thank
was
you,
sick
sir.
of waiting for you.
I didn't know what I was doing. I'm new to this.
You make movies.
Yeah,
so
no,
you're
you-
second on the list with Nintendo Dad's 236 views in 6 days. You're second on the list.
Not bad.
And the other reviews are all 11 months ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago,
It was on
1 year
probably,
ago.
it was probably on PC.
Okay, I'm going to change the filter and I'm going to say just this month. Yeah,
Well, then
you're the number one this month. There's a short from the Nintendo Dads. There are 2 videos from Half Human Games. And like, God, that's still weird. How come ours doesn't show up? Like, I know we're not the biggest channel in the world, but that's weird that ours doesn't show. But like, that shows you like nobody reviewed the game.
And again, maybe I'm biased, but I think it's a solid, unique game. It's not like a game I verily have ever played before as far as gameplay goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think give it a try if you like any of these types of, I mean, tower defense games, but it's a unique take on tower defense. I know like tower defense games are big on mobile and they tend to get a little boring because you just click in and put in a tower in, but
Mhm.
it's unique because it has that adventure gameplay aspect as well.
Right.
But
Crazy.
anyways,
All right. Okay, so those are got little announcements there. Monthly Mayhem
Woo.
continues on. We have Halloween Mayhem.
We do.
And we're getting some pictures. We're getting some videos. We've got about, 10, 11, 12 days to go. So don't forget your entries in. Send us your pictures. Send us your videos. What else can they send in, Drew?
Well, they didn't send in anything, right? Be creative. I made a little video for you guys of me and my daughter of sending peaches, right? I mean that is legit. She is Princess Peach for Halloween. I am legit Bowser for Halloween. And that's the creativity we're looking for, right? I as much as I want to win, I don't know if I'm eligible, but
You're definitely not eligible.
there you go. I can't win. My family is now cannot win prizes for that video that we made. But that's what we want to say. And I get it, right? This is the week that we hopefully will start seeing a lot of submissions, right? Halloween parties are happening. Halloween night, your costumes are going on. But we got to submit them. You're going to see maybe you're doing haunted houses with if you have older kids, and like that's the stuff we want to see. Be creative. If you know how to play music, write us a song. Just sing us a song. Write us a poem. We've said these things in the past. Send us a little video or anything, because it's a no-brainer, John. That's what we love, right? We love creativity. We love something that's your own, that you developed yourself. That's what's going to win, right? It's an easy no-brainer to win some money.
Yeah.
So I'm
Um,
hoping this week, the next 10 days, is where we really start to see a bunch of cool, unique stuff.
Yep. Yep. And we've got another mayhem to
We
talk
do.
about.
We
We
do.
do. And we went, we had like what, a 2.5 month gap without a mayhem.
Yep.
We talked about it a little bit. It's hard to come up with these days because everybody's playing something different. Look at Drew and I.
Mhm.
We're the only ones playing Wargroove 2. When Wargroove 1 came out, we had a freaking league.
We did. And I'm not
Now
going to
there's
lie,
nobody
John.
else playing.
We really, I mean, at least me, we had the vision of kind of doing another possible Wargroove 2 Mayhem originally,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And we were even going to do giveaway. Maybe we were going to give away the game, and we have, I'm not going to lie, a plushie, a very cool Caesar plushie that I wanted to give away. But when we saw nobody was playing it, we're like, well, what's the point? Like,
Yeah.
like no one in our community is going to win. And to be honest, when we do these giveaways and prizes, like we want someone in our community to win. It's okay if a no-name person wins, but if we have we want you guys to submit stuff, just like the Halloween thing. Um, so yeah, I agree, John. I'm on the same page with you there. But anyways,
Right.
Mayhem, back to the point.
Yep.
What-
So we didn't have a game that everyone's playing, but we do now.
We do.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And we're going to announce a new monthly mayhem. It will be announced this week. We don't have the final details.
Yep.
But we have a really fun idea and we can't wait to share it with you. But there will be a mayhem. I already got it cleared with Justin that we can have 2 mayhems at once because we were delayed before.
Mhm.
This is gonna be a perfect mayhem. Keep playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
And then we will let you know what it's going to be, but it is going to be fantastic. And I cannot wait to participate in
Me
this
too.
one, Drew.
I think it's safe to say you will have the rules in our typical graphic on the Discord posted before or by next weekend, by Friday. I think that's fair to say. By Friday,
Yep.
you'll understand the contest and you'll have everything laid out for you. So I agree with John. I'm super excited because I love going back and I just love this game that I want to keep playing levels I've already played and try to beat people in competitiveness. I'm excited for it.
Yep. It's going to be fantastic. First bit of news that we have, Kevin Afghani has been revealed to be the new voice of Mario and Luigi. And this is a largely unknown voice actor. He only has a few credits to his name. What do you think about Nintendo seemingly purposefully, I want to say, picking a lesser known voice actor and someone much younger? I'll look up his age, but
Yeah,
what do you think about this? And what do you think about his voice? And now that you've played the game.
So I have a few thoughts on this, right? So this goes back to like the big corporate move, I feel like, where the older guys get, the longer they've been with a company, the more money they make. So what do? They try to force them out, bring somebody in new that sometimes has just as equal talent, right? Or a different talent they bring to the table, and they can pay them a lot less. This guy Kevin, right, is not a well-known. He's not Chris Pratt, right, as far as popularity price tag, right? He's kind of a no-namer type guy, right? If you look at his
He
history,
started in 2020, like,
so
and
right?
he had 6 credits to his name before
Yep.
being the voice of Mario.
Yeah, so we went on our soapbox about Charles Martinet before that we loved him, and so and everything that he did for the development of Mario. So we don't need to go on that soapbox again, right? But for this guy, Kevin, what he brings to the table, I'm going to be blunt when I say this, John. I think if you polled 98% of the people playing this game, they would have no clue or idea that there's a new Mario voice.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I think he does a fine job, especially in a game where it's not like he's talking sentences. And even Charles Martinet back in the day, these are like 1 to 2 to 3 words at a time phrases. And I think he's good. He's great. He's fine. It's almost unnoticeable the differences between his voice, really, and I think previous games. I think diehard Nintendo podcasters like us and people listening to Nintendo podcasts, you might notice it. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is enough change to say what the F or what the, it's he did his job, he did it well enough. It's by, and I bet you Nintendo's paying a fraction of what they were paying Charles Martinet. Sorry to say it, but it's the truth on this new guy, Kevin. So I think he's doing fine with it so far from what I've seen. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I hope they're not paying him less money than Charles Martinet, because that would probably cheese me off. And I
They're
don't know if
definitely paying him less.
I mean, if Nintendo got rid of Charles Martinet over money, I would be fucking irritated like shit. But the way it's been portrayed to us is Martinet has retired and moved on, and he's an ambassador. And I haven't seen a sense of Martinet being pissed off. I mean, he did a video and everything.
True.
But yeah, it's basically a Charles Martinet impression.
It is. I agree with that's a great point. It really
Yeah,
is. He
it's not like
continued
some
that
different
concept.
direction. Yeah, it's clean and whatever. They like it, it makes the right sounds. I'm not sure if I would have noticed or not. It's hard to tell because I knew. I never figured it out when I saw the first Wonder trailer, because I remember there were people saying that's not Charles Martinet, and all of that just came back to like the Bayonetta thing. But I think there's the way Nintendo handled it. Maybe they learned from like the Bayonetta thing, is just better. So even though this is not Charles Martinet, and like hopefully there wasn't like some bad blood there, it's easy to accept it. It's much easier
Mhm.
to accept it. So it's fine. I still want to see what becomes with Charles Martinet, because even though he's not the voice anymore, he did create that voice. Nobody told him to
Agreed.
do that exact voice. He
I agree.
invented that voice. So I'll be curious to see if he's going to be an ambassador. Does he show up? Is he going to do the road shows? I mean, love to meet the guy again.
True.
But yeah, no, it doesn't. Nothing really skips a beat. It's not a different kind of voice. It's just an impression, and yeah, he does a good job. The dude is 26 years old. He's born
Wow.
a day before my birthday, but in 1996. So he's almost exactly 20 years younger than me.
Imagine being the
Um,
voice of Mario at that age.
I mean, like, that's just incredible. And I'd love to know what his previous work is. Apparently he did a voice on the Cuphead show, but I didn't watch that. And he did something in Genshin Impact, and maybe he's just a really good voice actor.
And
But
maybe
it's
they
crazy.
wanted someone that sounded like Martinet. And this guy, they came in and they said, "We're looking for someone that sounds like him. In your interview, do your best impression of Charles Martinet's Mario."
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And it said, "Wow, that sounds just like him. That's what we want."
That's probably why Martinet is the ambassador, because they're basically, I wonder if
That's a good point.
they
A
owned
great
his
point.
voice, but like you have to acknowledge that he invented that, and now they're basically getting someone to impersonate him. And like I said, I really hope they paid him off really, really well and said thank you and gave him $500,000 or something like that. I'm not saying I think that's what they did, but I hope that's what they did. So yeah, no, it sounds fine. Splatoween is coming October 27th, the Splatoon 3. It's going to be a Splatfest, zombie, skeleton, or ghost. And there's going to be some new outfits. I think I read that these outfits will be available through the news segment, and we've seen that before, where if you go to news and you click on a story, it'll unlock something. We've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump back into Splatoon, I think just for the Splatfest for now, because I want the undead head. It is a mummy-looking
I did look at this.
hat.
Did it start yet? It said, I'm sorry.
October 27th.
I
So
might
it's this
have to-
week, but I want the undead head, and I'm going to put on the undead head, and I'm going to wear that forever in Splatoon 3 whenever I play, because it is awesome. Yeah, I want to get some Halloween stuff and then just make that my forever outfit. So I'm going to be doing that for sure. Very excited about that one.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, we were out to dinner. I forget where, and I saw this news, and I asked. I was at the mall, and I showed the kids the picture of zombie skeleton ghost, and I said, "Which would you guys pick?" And
Okay.
they all said ghost, every one of them, and my
Wow.
wife said ghost. So this could be, and it's because I guess the ghost picture, like a cute little ghost, and the other pictures are not as cute. The zombie looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
This could be the
That is a
biggest.
cute little ghost.
This could be the biggest upset. It's also purple. I love, purple's great for Halloween, and
Mhm.
this could be a huge lopsided victory for Ghost. I'm just
I
saying.
like the Swim Reaper mask.
Yeah,
Looking
there's
at it
cool
now.
stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
have
want
to
to give
try to
it.
jump in. The
Yeah.
27th, yeah. Is it just the weekend they do, right?
Yep.
And
We
now
should hit up the Let's Play and see if we can get
we
people
really
to join
should.
in this one.
I'm so bad at this game, but I enjoy it. That's the problem. Nice.
All right. Let us play a game. Drew, I have made a game for you.
Ooh, I love games.
Here we go. This is why you appreciate me.
I do
Um,
appreciate you.
I went to Totally 80s Pizza this
I
on
saw the
Thursday.
pictures. That was
Yep.
incredible.
This was part of the CSU tour. It is next to the campus. I'd been there before, but they changed locations and I didn't even know. I had the directions take me to where it was. So I couldn't remember. And we went to a different place. And it was the same store because it was the same thing. They had Pee Wee Herman's bike from the movie. They had all of this cool stuff, all these old toys sealed up. They have the original Rubik's Cube in the package and the Muscle, which was one of my favorite things as a kid. Voltron in the box, all that stuff. And it got me to talking to Michelle about like sounds from the 80s that people might not recognize now. So I have made a game for you because you were born in
Oh, boy.
86. You were a child born of the 80s, but mostly grew up in the 90s.
87.
87. Wow. So 87.
Mm.
But you're also a guy caught up in Nintendo culture and you're
Sure.
not totally out of the loop. So I'm going to play 8 sounds for you.
Oh, boy.
And I just want to see how many you can figure out. And everyone can play at home, see how well you
I
can do.
always like miserably fail at these games, but I'm in. I'm excited.
It is, I want to say relatively, it's going to go from easy to hard, but there's just going to be some sounds you're going to figure out and some you won't. So
Yeah.
nothing I can do. All right. This is the first sound.
That's it.
Drew, what's that sound?
That's it.
That's it.
So this is a 1980s video game.
No, this is not a video game. These are 80s-ish sounds.
Oh, 80-ish sounds. Okay.
Yeah, they could be earlier, they could be a little later, but 80s-ish sounds.
All right, one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's not a typewriter. Sounds like one.
I hope Jesse's listening. I hope some of our older members, Tim, Jesse, are listening to this.
I don't know.
Really?
I feel like I do, but it's just harder than you think because you know what it is.
I am older and I did it, so I know the answers, but that was a rotary phone.
Oh, that made sense. That made sense.
Okay.
I had one of those.
All right. Next sound.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
What?
Drew's face.
What the fuck was that?
Just a
Play it again.
spoiled fucking 90s kid is what you are. That's what you are.
Play it again.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I don't know.
I'll give you a little hint. It's a blank and blank.
A blank and blank. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was in a classic 80s movie too. That is a speak and spell. That's how us kids learn
That
how
one
to
I
read.
would never, ever, ever have gotten.
I
The
think
rotary
it's in.
phone I should have gotten. That one, that was the toy that was outdated when I was that age.
I think it's in the movie E.T. Yeah, I think Speak and Spell has a prominent role as a key component of the alien creature's home-built interstellar communicator in the Steven Spielberg motion picture E.T. So if you watch E.T. again, keep an eye out for a Speak and Spell.
It's also in Toy Story, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, no, I think it is.
That's where I think I remember it from. More than. See?
I got one for you. I think this one will be a little easier for you.
Oh, for 2. Whoa, this is AOL Startup. You've got mail.
I want to know what is the device that makes that sound?
The device? Well, I mean, it's the AOL startup. It's the Ethernet cord for the internet. I don't know. What do you mean? I remember I used to have to unplug my phone off the wall and get my like 40-foot Ethernet cable and run it from the computer into the wall jack. But it's like the modem. Like, what?
Yes, the modem. All right, you got it. It is not the AOL start sound.
It sounds. I mean, that's what the '90s kid in me wants to say.
Right. All right. Next sound.
Cupert?
Holy shit. Michelle said the same fucking thing. No, it's
Really?
not Cubert. I'll give you one more chance. I'll give you one more chance as the old guys are all screaming at you right now.
Is this a video game?
It is a video game.
Is it Balloon Fight or something?
Oh my god.
It's Cupert. I think it's Cupert.
That is Pac-Man dying.
I knew Pac-Man.
All right.
You should have played the one when he dies and he turns into a little banana peel. I would have known that one.
Next one.
The very beginning, it sounded like we were going to start Monster Mash or something, but play that one again.
Try to feel it. This one is try to feel it. Try to feel it more than listen to it.
Feel it. It's like you're also trying to start a lawnmower. One more time. Is it like a washing machine or something? I mean, it feels like you hear like a door and then like an engine trying to start up. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. An 80s item? I don't know.
That is a manual window crank in a car. Did you ever have those? Or did you always have power windows?
Listen, I had a 1987 Volkswagen Cabriolet that didn't even have power steering.
So you had a roll up the window.
Yeah, that car was a gem.
Okay. So no excuses for you.
I'm watching this chick, by the way, on Twitch paint her boobs with body paint to the Charlie Brown Green Pumpkin. It's incredible.
Twitch is a hell of a thing.
And her big boobies are just pumpkins.
Anyway, link me. Like, why aren't you linking me?
I'm sorry. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Okay.
I'll put it in our chat.
All right. Next one. You ready?
Yeah.
I apologize. That one might have been a little loud.
That can't be the whole thing.
Here it is again. Ready?
Jesus.
It is probably not the best version of what something like that could be, but last time. Still pretty loud.
That one, I have no idea.
This one's going to hurt a little bit. That is putting an NES cartridge into an NES.
That's bullshit. I'm throwing the flag on that play. that
You're out of challenges, pal.
Everybody does that one differently.
All right, you've gotten one. You've missed 5.
Oh man, this might be my worst score yet. I feel like I kind of got Pac-Man, but anyways, I still question it.
All right, here's one. Ready?
Oh, that's like a spring-loaded Nerf gun or something. That's got to be like a, it's something spring-loaded. Could it be, do it again.
Sorry, I was watching the girl paint her boobs.
Isn't it incredible?
Did she start off nude? Like, where did this, or does she?
I don't know. I turned it on and it was, she already had a lot of it done.
I assume she has like pasties on or something. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Duck hunt? No, I'm going back. It's not like a Nerf gun or like pinball.
It's honestly not a bad guess that it's a zapper, but it's not.
It's not like any type of gun.
No.
Pinball of some type.
Last one. Ready? Last try.
It's definitely I know this one. I know this one too. I'm gonna be mad on her when you tell me this one. Is it
That
a
is
toy of some?
the high res graphics of a ViewMaster.
Nope. I don't know what the fuck a ViewMaster is.
So remember the ViewMaster is you get a little circular wheel with little pictures on the outside and you
Oh yeah,
put
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
and you
yeah. I
push
know
the
what that
button and it
is.
rotates it. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold it in your eyes and. Yeah. Well,
All right. This one is the hardest one, but maybe you'll get this one.
doubtful, but let's try. Is this a video game?
Not a video game.
Put it in. Got to be typing of some sort. Is it typing of some sort? You type in something?
Mm-mm.
It's like a clicking. You're clicking. I don't know.
I'm hoping you can be like the Broncos and Patriots and go from like 1 win to 2 wins here.
I'm not. I'm still watching this girl actually paint her nipple right now.
You can see she has like it's like cups underneath.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
What do you? I'm sorry. I'm distracted. One more time. Is it flies flying into a bug zapper?
That is a floppy disk loading.
I mean, I used floppy disks in school, but I wouldn't have known that sound. I'm like 5 years too young for this game.
I got to find somebody older who did not listen to this show and see if I want to see if somebody older can do
I'm with
better.
Michelle. I still question that wasn't Hubert, but
maybe tomorrow I will find somebody. It's during the workday. I'll see if I can find somebody who can maybe go through the test.
good. And then I won't feel as bad when they score like a 3.
3 is
I let
still
you down. I'll tell you what,
3
great
times.
game. Back to I appreciate you.
You didn't let me down. I actually thought it would be harder for you because you're born like later.
Yeah,
but
I didn't have a lot of those toys that you had.
You didn't surprise me. Put it that way.
I just was on par with the letdown you expected.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. That's okay then.
Yeah.
You figured I'd get maybe 1 to 3.
I thought you would get maybe the rotary phone,
I should have known that one.
Pac-Man, and the window crank maybe, and maybe the ViewMaster. But it just depends on
your. The window crank is a tough one to think about. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just in your mind. That's not what you're thinking, but.
You know, it's funny because I thought about this. I was like, sounds from the 80s you don't hear anymore because you don't hear these sounds anymore. And one of them that I came up as an example when I was talking to Michelle about it was, remember the old washing machines where you would turn the dial and it'd be like,
See, my mom had one of those.
Yeah. Now they're all digital. There's still people that have some older ones, but they're all digital now.
But when you think about that noise, right? Sure, it's very distinct when you're watching somebody do it. But if you're just listening on audio, it's hard to figure out. That could mean like almost anything.
Right.
So that's the tricky part.
Yeah. All right, spooky movie updates.
Ooh.
What have you been watching? This is our last, by the way, this is our last, unless we do a show this weekend, this is our last spooky month episode. Sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
So there's this new show on Disney Plus, and it's like a PG-13-ish show. It's probably not for younger kids. Your kids would probably be perfect for this to watch with, John. And it's definitely not like scary, but it's Goosebumps. And it's this new show. There has been 6 episodes so far, and it's super cool. I'm not like a diehard Goosebumps fan. I've seen all the movies. I've seen some of the older shows. I used to read the books in the 90s, John, when I was, a kid, not the 80s. And it's just really neat. It's like it's all kind of unique stories, but the same characters and the same actors. But it's also all these, every episode, like something happens, like an old Goosebumps story happens to individual actor, and it's all intertwined for this overarching story. And you're gonna know one of the main characters. What's his name? Actors, rather. Justin Long is in it. You know
Justin
him? He's
Long.
from
Let's see.
Dodgeball. You would know exactly who he is when you've seen him. What else?
Oh yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah, he's one
Yeah.
of the main guys in it. He's funny, but I'm really enjoying this show. The episodes are not like an hour. I think they're a little bit on like 40-ish, 45 minutes. It's an easy watch, and it has like a couple. It's spooky themed. I don't know. Give it a go. Look at the trailer. This would be a good one to watch with the kids. There's 6 episodes out. I don't know how many there's going to be, or how often they're coming out. I know they released all 6 up front, and then I'm not sure what the next release schedule is.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching that. I got 2 other
Sweet.
ones, but I'll let you go back and we'll go back and forth if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I finished the Friday the 13th marathon. I got it done in 2 weeks.
Nice.
I was watching one a day. I think I might have snuck in two. These, what's funny about it is I was trying to keep a ranking of all the movies. I started from Friday the 13th 1. It goes through till 6, and then they stop numbering them. So it's
Mhm.
1 through 6, and then it's Jason Goes to Hell, and then Jason X, which is the only one I didn't see because it's not available on streaming. And then there is Freddy versus Jason, and then there is a reboot. And as they went, like, I realized, oh, these first movies are just terrible. Like, there's no story. Whatever. The first movie goes into the lore, but then after that, they kind of get away from the lore, and it just becomes like just murdering people who have nothing to do with anything. I don't even know if they're near Crystal Lake. But then as they got later on and we got further into the 80s, I realized they were actually getting worse. They were trying to, there was like a couple movies that were trying to tell a story. And I was like, oh, stop trying to tell a story. And then
Yeah.
there was like at least one movie, I can't remember which number it was, I think it was 5 maybe, that was trying to like have good actors. And they were trying to actually act. And it was worse again. It was terrible, like awful. Jason 6, Friday the 13th 6 is Jason Takes Manhattan. And again, they tried to have some serious actors who could act. And it was just worse. It was like, please stop. So I actually grew to appreciate the first couple ones where it was just these dumb, innocent kids who got savagely murdered. I kind of
That's all
like
we want.
their
Yeah.
they're just being stupid and getting naked and being murdered. And I was like, you know what? I kind of harken back to that sort of innocence.
Yeah.
But I will say, when it was all said and done, do you know what my favorite Friday the 13th movie is?
Treat me.
The reboot.
Really?
I don't know how that happened.
I enjoyed that movie as well, to be honest.
2009, and I was surprised to see that Jared Padalecki was the
Oh, wait,
star.
2000 and Friday the 13th. I was thinking
Yeah.
Nightmare Before Nightmare on Elm Street.
Friday Before Christmas.
Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
If this
But
was
anyway,
an Interior Dads episode, that would be the title of the show. Yeah, no, it's 2009. Jared Padalecki, who was one of the guys from Supernatural, and it was this perfect combination of, they didn't try to overtell a story, but there was a story. It had good actors. The lawyer from Silicon Valley, which is funny because I just
Oh, yeah.
recently saw that show for the first time. The dumb lawyer who looks like Scott Baio a little bit.
Yep.
He's in it. So it was like, but they played sort of dumb characters, but they were good actors. So they
Mhm.
sold it really well. And the killings were creative, and yeah, all of it together like really worked. And Jason is legit terrifying. He doesn't have the mask in the beginning of the movie. He's got like a sack
Really?
wrapped around his head, which is sort of what he looked like in Friday the 13th Part 2. And then
Okay. Yeah,
eventually
yeah,
he
yeah.
does get the hockey mask. And then when he does, you're like, yeah, he's got the mask on, you know?
I don't know if I've ever
And
seen that one.
it was really good. And I gotta say, like, there's a couple girls that were super hot, like ridiculously hot. So it just had everything. It had everything you wanted. It was perfectly done.
Mhm.
And even the ending, the ending of the movie was like a really good, satisfying ending. It was great. And then the very end of the movie was like sort of an homage to the original movies, the way they have Jason kind of jump in at the last second again.
Nice.
I have not a single complaint about this movie. It was perfection.
Wow.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's on Max. You can watch
I
it
don't know
there.
if I've seen that one. Can I just watch just that?
Oh yeah, it's a reboot. Yeah, there's no continuation, whatever. It's
They're
just a
not
reboot.
connected. It's just a
Now,
reboot. So is it a reboot of the original or more like the original 3 movies or something?
so if I had to say, I would say it feels like they did a sort of reboot of a remake of the first movie in the first 10 minutes, and then they made like a whole new second
They
movie.
gave you that lore,
Or
backstory type stuff quickly, then
yeah.
moved on to some.
Yeah, it
Oh,
basically like really redoes the first movie quickly, and then it does, if you had to say Friday the 13th part 3, because that's when Jason first gets his mask, is in part
correct.
3. But yeah, no, it's
So
great.
it's kinda like when Halloween, they rebooted the Michael Myers one a few
Yeah.
years, and then I think they made like a second and even third reboot.
You might as well. I mean, you could almost describe each one of the Friday the 13th movies as a reboot. I think
That's true.
2, 3, and 4 take place sequentially in time. But
Okay.
honestly, I didn't know
Oh,
that watching the movies. I read that and I was like, oh, for the most part, none of them really connect. There's early on in that series, there's the character that survives at the end of the previous movie dies in the beginning of the next movie. But other
mhm.
than that, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So that was fantastic. And then I did actually watch Freddy versus Jason again. I watched it last year because I was doing the Elm Street
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah.
I watched that with Michelle
Ooh.
this time. So I don't think she loved it, but she doesn't like scary movies. But I got her
Mhm.
to watch that one with me. So there
Very
was a lot of like eye rolls and stuff like that with that movie, but that's a fun movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
recommend that one too.
Nice. Um, I mentioned I finished all the streams, right? I think I said that last time.
I don't think you said it on the show.
Oh, I did finish all the streams. So 5 and 6? 5 and 6 were kind of rebootish, kind of. Um, they were so cool because they tied 1 through 3 was kind of a series. 4 was kind of just like weird. And then 5 and 6 were kind of a throwback to the originals. Tons of references and relatives and like just hidden messages, tying them all back. Super cool, super well done. They're actually making a 7th one that's coming out next year. Jenny Ortega's in these. She's like the main character for
Love
5
her.
and 6. Love her. She's awesome. Um, 5 and 6 were awesome, but I will say you should watch all the originals to see all the references and throwbacks to it. I think that's what made 5 and 6 so cool. So I'm excited for 7 now to come out. Um, I also watched the new Haunted Mansion movie on Disney Plus. Did I say I didn't mention this? I don't think either.
Is that animated or
No, this is not animated. Owen Wilson's in it. He's one of the main characters. Danny DeVito's in it.
okay.
Um, this is more of the classic lore of the Haunted Mansion. I know there was an Eddie Murphy one a while back. This one is more really based on like the ride and the history and the lore and the bat story of the characters that started the Haunted Mansion and how it's all tied together. There's so many cool references from um the ride, and they did so many cool like extensions of it as well. This was better than I expected. I kind of went in there with kind of low expectations, not really know what to expect, but this is another great one for the family to watch. It should be a little spooky, but I would say only if you have kids under the age of my I watched it with my 9-year-old and we had no problems at all. It's actually more humor than I thought as well. Solid characters, fun story, great effects. I mean, it's Disney. This came out in the theaters, so uh, th- recommend it. I better than I expected. Enjoyed it.
Sweet.
You have any more?
I do. I watched we watched Ghostbusters with the kids, the
Oh,
original.
classic. Just the one.
I actually had told you we were going to watch the girl Ghostbusters because
I never seen that.
you haven't. Amy has had to have seen that, right?
No,
How is it? Amy loves SNL.
I know. Is it good?
I mean, this is
It's fine. It's fine.
Kate McKinnon, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, like Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa
Like,
McCarthy. I thought
I
she
mean,
was.
this is SNL royal, like all of it. It's crazy.
And it's basically just that comedy slapstick comedy type.
It's kind of a reboot. I think there's some references to the original Ghostbusters. I think they might be some family lineage, but it's for the most part, it's just a reboot. It's absolutely hilarious, and if you love SNL, it's a must
I
watch.
might have. This would be a good one to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Amy, it sounds like Amy would love it.
That's a good point.
But we were going to watch that one, but we decided to watch the original because we'll
Okay.
just watch them all in a row. So we're going to be watching the girl
Oh,
Ghostbusters next. And I was always hesitant to play the original Ghostbusters because it's one of those 80s PG movies
mhm.
where, man, the PG in the 80s was like fucking R now.
Oh yeah.
Bill Murray is a freaking creeper. He would be like probably arrested for sexual harassment the way he treats Sigourney Weaver. There's like a scene where a ghost goes down on Dan Aykroyd. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, if my kids want to watch it, go. But I don't want to be in the same room
Sure,
sometimes
that
and
makes
that
sense.
uncomfortableness. And but except for those things, it was mostly just fine. There's some bad words here and there. My kids have long we've crossed that chasm.
That's not as bad. I mean, the younger kids, it's like but yeah, your age, they've heard it all.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, like we're watching a movie and someone goes asshole and we're just like, oh whoa, well, like actually go whoa 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 whoa. Now it's like, forget it. It's
Like,
one
yeah,
thing for my Cedric's 16, but my daughter's still 12.
no, of course.
But
If you can avoid it, you avoid it. Yeah,
the youngest will always grow up with the oldest. Otherwise you're watching Elmo
and
with your 8-year-olds,
and even if not, they go to school with kids that have older siblings. Do you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that's where I think mine learned it a
Well, and a
lot of
big
that.
problem with our school, and I don't want to get into it, but is our school is a pre-K to high school.
Oh,
It's
that's
every
dangerous.
grade. And so when school's over, all the high school kids are outside cursing up a storm while the
Yeah,
preschoolers are
and
walking
wear
out.
inappropriate things, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
So you can't really escape it. But anyway, we watched Ghostbusters 1. It was cool to see. I love seeing old effects. I love those old movies.
oh yeah,
And then was it last night we watched Ghostbusters 2,
okay,
which I don't remember. Ghostbusters 1 came out in 84.
hmm
Ghostbusters 2 came out in 89. I forgot that
yeah,
there was a
big gap.
5-year gap. And that's actually the gap in the movie. When the movie starts, it says 5 years
Who's the
later.
main antagonist in that one?
Remember it's the guy who's like Vigo, and there's like the painting of the guy who's looking all
Oh
scared.
yeah, and he's like all in
Oh,
the
Vigo.
museum. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's kind of annoying,
yeah.
honestly.
Yeah,
But the funny thing is, the movie is much more kid friendly. I think
really?
they
Okay.
realized. I think when they did the first movie, they might not have been thinking that kids would watch it, and then they realized they were.
Realized that they
So
had maybe more of like a franchise than just like a one hit.
yeah.
Yeah, so they
So
wanted to.
it's more kid friendly. It's not as creepery and whatever. And of course, they have the NES Advantage to control the Statue of Liberty, which is my favorite
Oh,
moment
that's
of
the
that
other one. I
movie.
remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And I know the Ghostbusters one will be fun. And then I haven't seen Afterlife yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing Afterlife after
I
that one.
haven't. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, let me
Nice.
know if Amy watches the
Yeah,
girl
I'll watch
Ghostbusters
it with her,
because
maybe. Yeah,
yeah.
very cool. I watched by myself the other day. I had 2 hours to myself, so I watched Trick or Treat again. I know we've talked about this movie in the past. This came out in like 2009-ish, believe it or not, John. I think it was around that
Jeez.
time frame. This is such a cool movie. I think it's four unique stories going on Halloween night. Kind of. Some of them are flashbacks and flash forwards, but uh, it's just four different individual stories, different, totally different, and they're all semi-connected. Right? I think you brought this up once, John. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch this movie a second or third time, there's so many cool references. Like, you'll see a story where someone just dies, and then it's like you'll just see someone walking down the street, and that person just happened to walk by them, right? Because it was earlier in that night, and it's just so cool how they tie it all in. I'll say I don't usually like the one thing I really notice about this movie since 90% of it's filmed at nighttime, like super clear. They must have had really good cameras because like super cool. Like, there's darkness movies, but then there's like it's just how they film it. I don't know how to really spit it out, but
It's dark, but you can see it.
yeah, but it still has that eerie effect. Right.
Right.
Versus sometimes it's just so dark you can't even really see what you're looking at, especially in like the old 80s and like horror movies. Right.
Yeah,
It's
like
the
you
camera
yeah,
technology
yeah.
wasn't there. So
Right.
when you watch these movies and they try to make this cool looking Michael Myers standing in like the background, it's hard to even see it. Where nowadays it's dark, it's eerie, but you can see stuff. Um, the one thing I have to bring up on Trick or Treat, John, that I kind of forgot about. how hot this scene was. And I actually posted the YouTube scene on Discord. And I don't know if it might have been I didn't even watch it. I just watched it on the movie. I don't probably isn't the rated R version. It's essentially this scene, spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert, but it's all of these hot girls in the woods, and they're werewolves, and they're slowly converting into werewolves in this scene, and they're just literally like ripping their shirts off. Some of them
Yeah.
are ripping their bras off, and their tits are hanging out. They're grabbing them, like they're killing this guy. It's just like, and they have like good rock music. It's just epic scene. It's on Discord in the Halloween channel. If you didn't, just go watch it. It's in a 2-minute clip. It's cool. It's great. It's well done. But this movie overall is a fantastic little movie. It keeps you interested at all times because it's the way they intertwine the stories, and it never feels like each story overstays its welcome. Right? Again, there's a scene where a guy's on his doorstep and his neighbor's banging on the window for help, and he kind of ignores it. Later on, you'll see why the neighbor is banging on the window for help, because you actually are
Mhm.
watching that story unravel. So things like that is just super cool, intertwined and interconnected. Really solid movie called Trick or Treat. This was it was free. God, I want to say maybe, I think also on HBO Max.
I think
And
it's on Max.
I
Yeah.
think it's on Max is where I watched it. So give it a watch.
Yeah, we had gotten a little Halloween decoration a couple years back, and we didn't even know what it was, but it said trick or treat.
Yep.
And then I looked it up, and it was like, oh, it's from this movie. And then I watched the movie, and it was like, what? Like, definitely not a movie to watch with your kids.
No, not kid
But
friendly. There is
it is way better of a movie than it has any right to be for
agreed.
just a Halloween movie. It's a total slasher movie and whatever. And like you were saying, I remember there being a really hot scene, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yes.
But it is a movie worth watching 3 or 4 times.
And
It
it's not
is fun to
super
see it.
long, hour and a half or less, maybe.
No,
Hour and
it's not
20,
that
1:30.
long. And like you said, there's 4 stories in it. So each story is like 20 minutes.
And that's what makes it keep it
yeah.
going, which is I like, right? Because a lot of horror movies will have that dead spot in the middle where
Mhm.
they do their opening kills, and then like they think they need to do this character story development, which
Yes.
nobody really cares about.
Right,
And then the
yeah.
killings start happening. You're like, all right, awesome, sweet, let's get to it. And that's the script for every horror story. But that like 15-minute mark to like the 45-minute mark is just useless in horror
Right.
stories.
At best, you watch the first mini movie and you're like, what the hell's going on? And then the second one, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
and then you're like, I want to see that again. Yeah.
It's so
It's great.
cool.
It's a great movie.
It really is. Really is. Agreed.
Maybe I'll watch it. I need to watch something this week. I was thinking of watching Scream 1.
Yes, do it.
Maybe I'll save the marathon for another day, but I definitely want to watch Trick or Treat again.
Watch it again. It's good.
All right.
John, that's then I have a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have any more movies?
No, I'm
Okay. You may or may not know. I eat salad probably 4 out of 5 days a week for my lunch. It's easy. It's easy to bring to work. It's easy to do dishes. It's whatever. So salad can be repetitive, let's call it. Right? And how do you change it up? With salad dressings, of course. So, like, what's your go-to salad dressings? If I guess first question is, are you a salad guy?
I do eat salad. Do they have mad greens in Rhode Island?
I don't know. Is that like such a bagged lettuce type thing, or
Think of
just
like a fast. How would I say?
oh,
Like
is it a restaurant?
a fast fruit. It is like a fast food place. But you get in line, and it's like, think about going to like a Chipotle or
Yeah,
Qdoba, and they make you the base salad, and then somebody does your condiments, and they mix it up. And it is my favorite place to get a salad, Mad Greens.
But is it one of those things that like when you come out of it, it's like a $14-15 salad?
Maybe 11, maybe 10,
Yeah.
11, but it's really good. Like it's like I would take that over like a burger or something like that. It's
I know.
really
I
good.
love a good salad. And then at home, you're not getting everything. Like I keep it on basic. It's like tomatoes, banana peppers, chickpeas.
Oh God,
and
I don't have any of those. I just
maybe
do a
sprinkle a little
Caesar.
cheese on it. Well, like
Yeah.
if I'm bringing it every day for lunch, I gotta change it up a little bit.
Right,
I gotta have
yeah.
some.
I do like a chicken Caesar salad. And then do they have Noodles and Company over there?
They don't.
They don't have Noodles and Company?
No.
Noodles and Company is like mostly like mac and cheese and noodles, but they've expanded out. They had a really good chicken Caesar salad too, but they've recently changed
I
their
love a good
from
chicken Caesar.
romaine to like just the regular
The
green
iceberg.
iceberg,
Yeah.
and it stinks now, unfortunately.
Iceberg is
But
like very watery, not a lot of flavor taste. So you got to add some stuff to it.
yeah, I don't know why they changed. Obviously, it's probably
Cheaper,
cheaper
probably.
lettuce, but like now I don't want it. So you now you lose the whole sale.
Yeah.
It's all gone. But yeah, I do like those salads. But no, I don't really make my own. We'll get like a bag, like a
Yeah.
bag you get from the store
That's how
and
I
make
usually
it
start, and
sometimes.
then I add some stuff to it. Yeah.
But I would never have that for lunch. But when
That's
I
every
worked
day.
at Schwab, there was a Mad Greens next door, and I would eat there like twice a week.
So I eat bagged lettuce, John, 4 out of 5 days a week. Is that sad?
It's a little sad. Why don't you have a sandwich or something like that?
I mean,
Well,
that's
change
the
it up.
5th day. I'll have like a peanut butter and
Okay.
jelly. I
Peanut
I
butter and
don't I
jelly.
just I don't
Get some
like
boar's head roast beef, you know?
when I have lunch, I literally eat at my desk and I typically keep working or I'll play around to Slay the Spire. Like I'm not like taking a long lunch typically. But I mean I'll do takeout once in a while to, go grab something down the road or a sandwich or something.
Depends how
But
close it is. Sometimes it's nice just get walk somewhere.
yeah, there's no
Like,
walking distance from my place.
yeah, that becomes, and like you don't really want to drive, but
You lose
just
your
getting
parking
up, walking,
spot.
and walking back kind of refreshes you for the
I
afternoon.
agree. Change of pace. I mean, you sit at your desk all day. I agree. It's nice to kind of get up and walk around.
Right.
So back to my point is, do you have a go-to salad dressing at least, or not really? I mean,
I
if
mean,
it's
it's like
Caesar, then it's Caesar.
Caesar dressing, but like when I'm out to eat or something, ranch is a great little dressing for
Okay.
dipping nuggets or fries or anything. Really, I can dip anything in ranch.
True.
And then honey mustard. Honey mustard is underrated.
Is it on a salad?
I like honey mustard, not necessarily on a salad.
But for
Usually
dipping.
I'm ranch or whatever, but honey mustard on what is the salad they sell at Outback Steakhouse? And that's where I first got honey mustard.
Like
I think it was like a Cobb salad, or
the
it was called the
Cobb's-
Queensland
has
salad.
like chicken tenders on it and stuff. That might be good if it had
Yeah,
like fried chicken, something with honey mustard.
I know it was called the Queensland salad at Outback, but then they changed the name of it. But they still have it. It just doesn't have the name. But it's like, yeah, there's some stuff and cucumbers and whatever. But that's where the honey mustard. That's where I first fell in love with that too. But only with certain salads if they maybe don't have ranch.
I've been a huge fan of like a strawberry vinaigrette. Like I'm a vinaigrette guy because it's kind of on the lighter side. It's not too creamy. And I found a strawberry vinaigrette one, and it's delicious.
It's there. They could be strong and like kind of like if you described it, people would be like, "Oh, that's disgusting," but it's just for some reason satisfying.
The worst is like we also have like a salad bar at work cafeteria, so we could like make our own salads, which they do by the weight. So if you're gonna do that, you're paying, like you said, $10 for a salad. But the worst is like you do it. I did this the other day, and I grabbed a salad dressing. And it was like raspberry vinaigrette, and I was like, all right, I like a light flavored vinaigrette. And then as soon as you pour it on, like instant like regret. Like it was like this thick, creamy, like blood red, and I'm just like I'm committed. I mean, I gotta do. I mean, I made
You're in
my
it.
I'm committed, but it's my God, this girl's still painting. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got for salad.
All right, let's get into some questions that we got from the audience. We will start off with Darth Platypus. If Scream happened in the Nintendo universe, which character would you pick to be Ghostface?
Wow.
That's a tough one. Wouldn't it just be Shy Guy because he already looks like it?
That's a great answer. That is a great answer. I'm gonna go Yoshi.
Ooh.
I feel like he's quick.
You'd have to pretend you don't recognize him under the mask.
Yeah, it's
His
a
big
nose.
schnoz is coming out.
I think I'm going Yoshi. I think that's who I think it would be. Like unexpected, you wouldn't expect it to be him, but he's also quick on his feet. I'm going Yoshi.
You know the character well.
I do.
I can't go
Ghostface,
more
I know
than
well.
that. Yeah. All right. Next question. Jason Frost. Frosticles. Look at him. He doesn't want to go by Frosticles anymore. Jason. Perfect for the season. On the next show, I would love to know Zablanc, that's me, Zablanc's opinion on My Little Pony and whether he'd ever consider joining the Bronies.
I gotta be completely honest. No fucking idea what MLP stood for.
Oh,
And then I
This was
said
in
bronies, and I'm like,
context.
maybe that's like a Broncos thing, like Bronkies, and
So
it's
I think
typoed. I didn't know. I had
this
no idea.
this was over a week ago. I think what happened was Mecha. If you're not familiar with Mecha Dragon 101 on the Dad's Discord, and I know his name comes up on other shows, but he's just a brony. He's like a total brony. But he also likes to bring up things that no one would ever know. And he goes, "Hey guys, you know what today is?" Like somehow we would know. And we were guessing things and whatever. And he's like, it's like some anniversary of My Little Pony or whatever. And it was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that? And so, but apparently we have a few bronies on the Discord. I don't know. Mecha will actually ask My Little Pony questions and to the Nintendo dads, and they continue to have no idea. But he still does it. So God bless him. But no, I don't really care about it. I've seen the newer show a couple times. The kids were watching it a couple years ago. And I just was looking for the one that Weird Al was on. But other than that, it's just like the same old thing. So, and when I grew up, boys didn't play with My Little Pony. We weren't allowed to. That was how
played with
we grew up.
Speech spells.
Exactly. So. All right. Beer Cerveza asks, time to play Would You Rather? It's our favorite game. Would you rather watch nothing but Lifetime television for the next 2 weeks or play nothing but Skull Island Rise of Kong until you roll credits? Just for the boundaries of this, are we allowed to sleep for these 2 weeks? Or is that like 24/7?
Yeah, I think any like recreational time where you would spend watching TV or playing video games, those are
Lifetime movies.
Those are your options.
I think you would agree with me on this one. I think we've had something similar. This is easy. I would play Rise of Kong because it would be over in probably 5 hours.
I got to be honest here. I don't see. I think this is a win-win situation. I don't see a bad answer here. I'd take either. I'd do both for 2 weeks.
You would watch 2 weeks of Lifetime movies?
Hey, make it Christmas time. There's some good like Hallmark classics out there.
All right, well, pick one. You got to pick one.
I probably don't con. I almost said I was going to buy the damn anyway.
I will say this. I've actually thought about playing through it to credits. I don't think it's very long, but I the whole reason why I wanted to get it and review it was because I love like that horribleness, and I want to see more. I want to see. I want to see. I have heard that there is a boss fight in this game where the villain, the dinosaur comes at you. I don't think it was the first one because I saw it, and it's literally a PNG that's moving towards you, not like a 3D object.
Listen,
I want to play more of this game.
We demand more, John. I think we need, for the first time in the history of the 90-second review, like take 2. like you saw the first half of the game, but do you really want to see the second half of the game? And we need like another review for the second half.
Right.
That's what we need.
It's hard to explain why that game is. Well, it's easy to explain why that game is so terrible, but it's really not about the fact that Kong is tiny or that the graphics look bad or whatever. It's that it's so boring. It is so boring.
Like, I agree. The graphics suck, but like you can get through it. We've all played shitty looking games, but I agree. Like nothing was happening.
Right.
It's just boring.
It's like these little dinosaurs, and you just attack, and they die. It's like, oh my god! It looks like it's just so boring. I choose Rise of Kong. Beer Cerveza also asks, when you were a kid, what candy did you hope to get on Halloween?
Good question. I think it's not because I loved them, but it was one of those things you just only had like one time a year. Remember those popcorn balls? They weren't even that good.
Yeah.
But it was just like they had that little, like they used like the caramel glue to kind of hold them together. And it was just, you never ate them any other time of the year. So 364 days would go by and you're like, man, I wish I had a popcorn ball right now. Then you eat like a couple bites. You very rarely would finish it. But I was always hoped for just one popcorn ball. That's all. Simple, man.
I mean, like if you can get a couple balls in your mouth, you were probably pretty excited at that point.
Very.
You know what? When I think about like when you mentioned the popcorn balls, like a candy that you just don't get all the time that you
Mhm.
look forward to. For me, it was a Cadbury cream egg.
Okay,
And now, like, I think they sell Cadbury cream eggs more year round. You can
true.
find them,
Just different themed.
but that's a thanks. It's like that was an Easter thing. But Cadbury cream eggs were special, and I love them. But
But are they
yeah,
not special if you can get them year round now? Is that the
they're
point?
less special because you can get them year round, and also for some reason, maybe it's my memories as a kid. A lot of them are really sticky when you pick them up, and like they should be cleaner, and I should be able to pick it up and it's smooth, and I unwrap it, and it's like, a lot of times you unwrap it and it's like hard. You're getting just shit all over your
Leaked
nails,
out.
and
Leaked
yeah,
out.
I think they don't make them as well. I don't know. But that's not a question for this one. For Halloween, when I was a kid, you know what I loved as a kid that was cool? Fun Dip.
Ah, Fun Dip's classic. It tastes like
It
a medicine stick, but that's okay.
absolutely like don't give a lick about Fun Dip. No pun intended. About it now. I'm a chocolate guy now, but like
Mm.
Fun Dip was cool. It was like, let me dip this stick.
Yeah,
So basically you'd have this white stick. I don't even know what it was. It was just
it's like
flavorless sugar. I
medicine. It
don't
was just
know.
like a medicine, like the
Right.
chewable. You know what else is a good one that we don't eat enough nowadays? Nerds.
I used to love nerds.
Me
My kids would
too.
give me the nerds from Halloween, but now I just don't like them anymore. It's too sweet, too tart.
Sugar, yeah, you eat those things, it's just like
You know what
cavity.
my kids give me now? They know I like, and I do the daddy tax thing. Yeah, I got to pay the daddy
You
tax.
gotta do it.
I get the Twix.
Well, you could buy those in the store though.
Well, yeah, but my kids hand them to me like in droves on
I
Halloween
like
night,
that.
so I like that. That's my candy. But yeah, Fun
Nice.
Dip when I was a kid, but nerds were great. I love. You know what's
Mm.
funny about nerds too is they would come in the box, and then you would shake it and it make all the noise, and then you'd undo it and you get one side open, and at first it's all clean, and you go,
Oh yeah.
and then after a few, like the box starts getting moist from your mouth, and it's
Mm.
just all falling apart and
Well,
gets to be messy.
Nerds is also one of those things that like you could never really figure out how that box was supposed to be opened. Like as a
Yeah,
kid, like you just wanted to eat them. Like nowadays, you can understand that. Oh, you're supposed to fold the lid and then like oh, okay. But as a kid, like you're not spending. You're
it's a
ripping that
weird
open, then you
box.
can't reclose it.
It's a weird box.
It is a weird box. Like
I don't
they gotta design that a little bit better.
I don't understand that.
Huh.
All right. Darth Platypus. Now this is like a week later now. He's asking another question. When do we hear about Bang on Balls?
I think you watched a 90-second
But
review. If you don't know, Bang on Balls is a newer
which,
game, right?
yeah, we just talked about popcorn balls, but I guess this is something different. I will say, I ran across this game and I immediately wrote Koozie and said, "Hey, I got a game for you."
Mm.
Skinflix, Netflix or Skinflix, Bang on Balls. But if you were looking for some Bang on Balls content, Hambone Johnny about a couple weeks ago did a first look for the Nintendo dads,
Mm.
and this game got offered. I could have taken it to play. There's just so many.
You
There's just
denied
so
it.
many good games to play. Sometimes I just can't play anything super random. But go find Hambone Johnny's video, and you will hear about Bang on Balls. I'm pretty sure if Drew played this game, it was his like sixth best game of the year.
It's possible. Played a lot of games this year too.
Hoots writes, and this is the last question: you guys like fishing? If so, or even if not, has there been a game that makes fishing fun for you?
I'll tell you a game that doesn't make fishing fun, as John alluded to earlier. That would be Sports Story.
Oh my god!
Fishing for fun.
Oh,
I mean, well, let me ask the first part. I'm not. I've never been fishing in my life. Just not a fishing guy. I'll be
yeah.
this Thursday. Cub Scouts. You know, I talked about the Dad Scouts is going fishing, and I think I'm going to sit this one out.
Are you bringing Evan, or are you just like?
No,
are
we're
you,
going to skip this week.
okay, all right. Not up for
But
the fishing.
not up for the fishing. I'm not a fisher guy. But a game, John, that makes fishing fun.
There are a lot of games that have fishing in it,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to think of like ones
I
that have
got
really
one.
good.
I got one. I got
Okay,
one.
what's yours?
Give me a second. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
They had
Remember in
fishing?
the lobby, the town area, You would go to
there was
the
fishing?
yeah. Is it
I don't
Forgotten Land or
remember.
is it a different Kirby? What was the other Kirby that came out recently?
Well,
No, it was Forgotten Land.
the most recent one was like that remake.
No, Forgotten Land had fishing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
You had
remember it.
the goldfish.
Yeah.
It was simple.
Either I
like
played it and forgot, or I didn't. He is pretty adorable wearing his little fishing hat, though.
Who, Kirby?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. I think one of the more fun fishing games is the one in Stardew Valley.
I never played that.
I used to enjoy that a lot. And the one in Sea of Stars. I don't know if I understand why it's in
Yeah,
Sea of Stars.
I'm not sure I really understood what I was doing either.
You had to catch a certain number of fish and then you were done. I don't know. But yeah, no, that was in there too. So Sea of Stars. Then Animal Crossing, of course, when you try to find new fish and do it. It's not as mini game-ish. I like
Yeah.
that Stardew Valley made it like an interesting mini game.
Okay.
I also played the not Dwerve, but Dredge demo
Oh yeah.
a few weeks ago. And I don't know. I since then I think it went on sale, and I'm like, should I get it? It feels like a game I'd really like. In fact, I feel it's a game that you and I would both like.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a Monster Hunter thing, like go catch some fish, and then go come back and sell them, and this and that, and get better fishing equipment and whatever. But I just found the act of the fishing was boring. Like I don't really care about fishing.
Yeah, that's my problem.
But I bet you fishing in that game is probably pretty fun, and I know a lot of people are really loving that
Oh,
game.
I remember this game.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the overview of even the old school Jaws game. Just kind of.
I bet you it would be a lot of fun. I just couldn't get past. I was just like, all right, whatever. It didn't. I was thinking maybe I'll get it on PlayStation. It's like one of those in between games where it'll look a lot better on PlayStation, but I don't know if I want to play a game like that on PlayStation. So it's just going to fall between the cracks and never get played. But I think I saw there's like a DLC for it, and like that stuff always gets me. I'm like, ooh, okay, let me play it, and then I'll play the DLC. Not much into fishing. I too have not really fished in my life, so that's all we got.
That's it. That's the show. It's a wrap. That was a good fun. That was fun.
Yeah, spooky movies are a week away from being done, but we still have Halloween to talk about and monthly mayhem.
Isn't it funny how like we have to stop watching them?
I know.
It's like can't watch it. Oh, it's November. Done.
I mean, a lot of them do go off the streaming services too, but yeah, I think next year I'll do a marathon of either Scream or Halloween. I've been wanting to do the Halloween one, but I'm going to do another. But I'm only going to do one marathon. I don't want to just burn out on it. So
yeah, that's fair.
One marathon a year.
Well, John, why don't you tell us what's coming out the next few weeks? Because we are in the mayhem of video games right now.
It continues, man. I mean, this last week was, the big Mario Spider-Man day, but now we just have a whole bunch of shit coming. October 24th, Just Dance 2024 edition is coming out. Awesome. Also on the 24th, Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. I am conflicted about getting this.
Are you into this?
I'm into it because I never played any of those games, and I feel like they're classics I need to play. But the graphics and everything, and there's so much to play right now. I don't know if I want to get it, but I can see getting it down the road and when it's dry and trying it out. We got Dave the Diver coming to the Nintendo Switch October 26th. Speaking of fishing, that's probably
sushi one, right?
It's going to be very good. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. I got a friend who's like addicted to. He's playing it on PC, but addicted to it right now. Once again, Disney Dreamlight Valley is coming out October 27th. I guess it'll be free to play. I don't know why Disney keeps doing this.
I thought it already. I don't. They just did it with Speedstorm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's coming out
Still
October
playing,
27th.
by the way, John. Still playing.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even put it in the notes anymore. It's just an assumption. I'm still playing it.
Alan Wake 2 comes out October 27th. That does not come to Switch. Or does that?
I didn't know that one.
Is that coming to Switch? Hold on a second. Let me check real quick. Oh, okay. The remaster came out for Switch. That's coming to Xbox and PC and PS5 and all that.
Okay.
And then October 31st on Halloween, strangely enough, Jusant comes out. That is also an Xbox and PS5 game. That one looks really cool. I am hoping for a code on that one. I think I might be able to get a code from our friends at Don't Nod. So I'm very excited for that one. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends, comes out
Another one.
November 1st.
Good for them.
Hey, there's a lot of League of Legends stories.
There is.
Star Ocean, the second story R. Whatever you want to think about that title. Okay. November 2nd.
Porn.
Surprisingly enough, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero comes out November 3rd. I did not realize the DLCs came out so close to each other. But
Nobody
there you
cares.
go. And also on November 3rd, WarioWare. Move it.
That's already.
Cannot wait. That's coming so quick now because it's...
I got to be honest, the more videos I see, the less excited I get. Just going to be honest.
I will admit that the last couple WarioWares, like the one on the Wii U and the one on the Switch, I thought I would play for longer, and I didn't. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I enjoyed them, but I thought I'd play like smooth moves. But this one, like, is the most like smooth moves, where you have the forms and you do the same forms.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And we might be having a Nintendo Switch mob party that weekend. So
Sounds like
I'll be able
another
to report.
potential mayhem.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a really fun game, but how long will it last? I still want to actually go back to the more recent one. I wanted to, remember we played it during the marathon.
Yeah, that was fun. That was.
I had lost my cartridge, but I found it. So
nice.
I want to go back and play that game some more. I want to explore it more. That's it. That's all we got.
That's it. That's all we got. What a show. Spooky season. I hope that's not the end of it, but I have a feeling it might be, but who knows?
Spooky season. All right. Well, hopefully the Astros can make a comeback here against the Rangers, and the Eagles are doing a good job against the Dolphins right now.
Agreed.
We'll see how all of that turns out. The amazing Patriots and Broncos are starting their Super Bowl run today. Let's go. Here we go.
Alrighty.
All right, man.
Peace.
Good night. The Dads After Dark show is part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available. If you're listening through Apple or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps us promote our show, and we'd be grateful to hear your feedback. Check us out on Threads and Instagram at NDadsAfterDark. Send us a question to dadsafterdarkshow@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the show. Or if you want to hear yourself on the show, leave us a voicemail. See the episode description for a link to do that. Be sure to join us on Discord and our Dads After Dark channels. That's where we chat. You can participate in our monthly Mayhem contest, plus other activities such as Chubbies and so on. You can get access by joining the Nintendo Dads Patreon or by subscribing to their Twitch channel. A big thank you to Family Jewels for the show's music. Check out their YouTube to hear other awesome Nintendo cover tunes.